Good morning. It's now time for another edition of Freedom with Steve Nichols. Brought to you in part by Sam Dennis Law, personal injury attorney, methodical, prepared, and battle ready. And by Kilby Family and Cosmetic Dentistry, dental care for the whole family. Now, available on Facebook, YouTube, Discord, and freedomnetworks.com each weekday morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Here's your host and last best hope for freedom, Steve Nichols.
All right, good morning. Welcome, everybody, to Freedom with Steve Nichols, broadcasting live in the SGAwater.com studios in Valdosta, Georgia. It's Monday, August the 22nd. Make sure you go to SGAwater.com, schedule your free water test today so that you know what you're drinking, what you're brushing your teeth with, what you're bathing in, what you're cooking in. You need to know what's going through your appliances in your home. There's a solution for that. Call 229-251-1100 or visit SGAwater.com. We do the pledge and the prayer here on Freedom with Steve Nichols each and every day, brought to you by Ross Automotive, 432 Connell Road, right here in Valdosta. Whether it's major engine repairs, minor repairs, tune-ups, brake checks, brake jobs, alternators, starters, whatever the case may be, whether it could be routine maintenance like an oil change or whatever, some sort of service. Go by 432 Connell Road before 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. They'll give you a 10% discount if you're a veteran or you're currently serving in the military. Just great group of people. I encourage you to use them for all your automotive needs. Let's go to the Lord in prayer this morning as we kick off this Monday. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the weekend, Lord. Thank you for the time to rest up and heal and get the feeling better, Lord. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for sending your Son, Jesus Christ, to die to cover us in our sin. Lord, we wouldn't know what to do without faith, without our faith in you, without our knowing that there's a place prepared for us after this short time on earth to spend eternity. Lord, we ask the courage to tell someone else about that, Lord, to give them that hope and that faith, to tell them about Jesus, Lord. Make us be bold and go forth and tell everybody. Lord, guide us and protect us as we start this week. Lord, thank you so much for getting me back on my feet so I can get here this morning and do the show. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Let's say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, 229-469-1417. That is the Valdosta transmission hotline. It is open, up and running. So if you've got something on your mind you want to talk about this morning, I'll be glad to hear from you. Otherwise, we'll get started and just kind of talk about what's going on. I am feeling a little bit better, not 100% by no means, but definitely on the road to recovery. So that's a tough thing, to have to go through. But we'll get through it just like everybody else. What's in the news? There's not a lot that we hadn't been talking about already. Not a lot changed. There's been some things happen, of course, but news tidbits. We can talk about whatever's on your mind this morning. One of the things that was pretty big news on the world stage was the car bomb that killed the daughter of the right-hand man of Putin, one of the advisors that Putin uses. Some call him a spiritual guide to Putin, but they were apparently there was a bomb that went off as a target in his car to try to kill him, that at the last moment they switched cars and it ended up killing his daughter instead. Russia's blaming that on the United States and Ukraine, and I don't know what they based that on other than innuendo, but Russian authorities said Sunday they had opened a murder investigation after the daughter of influential ultra-nationalist philosopher Alexander Dugin was killed by a car bomb on the outskirts of Moscow. The Russian investigative committee said it believed someone planned and ordered the car explosion that killed Darya Dugina based on evidence already collected from the blast. Taking into account the data already obtained, the investigation believes that the crime was pre-planned and was of an ordered nature. Dugina died at the scene after an explosive device presumably installed in the Toyota Land Cruiser went off on a public road and the car caught fire. Dugina's father is a Russian author an ideologue credited with being the architect or spiritual guide to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. He is purported to have significant influence over Russian President Vladimir Putin and was described as Putin's brain by Foreign Affairs magazine. A friend of Dugina told TASS that he believed Dugina's father was the true target of the blast, or possibly both of them, as the car belonged to Alexander. A Russian foreign ministry official implied that Ukrainian state structures were responsible for the explosion, a claim that Ukrainian authorities have denied. If the Ukrainian trace is confirmed, then we should talk about the policy of state terrorism implemented by the Kyiv government. Russian Foreign Ministry spokesman Maria Zakharova said in a Telegram post. There have been plenty of facts accumulated over the years to political calls for violence to the leadership and participation of Ukrainian state structures and crimes. Now, I look at this on the outside and think, y'all are at war. And, I don't know. These are just some of the risks you take, I guess. You're going to get retaliated against in many, many ways. So, I don't know. So whatever. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Nothing else that comes to mind. So we'll just kind of move on from it. Biden official being touted for or mocked for touting a 30% tax credit on solar panels for middle-class Americans. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm faced criticism on social media Sunday after she said Americans being crushed by the weight of inflation can lower their energy costs by installing solar panels at a 30% discount. During an appearance on Fox News Sunday, Granholm said the Democrats' $437 billion climate and health care legislation will provide thousands of dollars in tax rebates for lower and middle class Americans to weatherize their homes. If you are low income, you can get your home entirely weatherized through the expansion from the bipartisan infrastructure laws and significant expansion. You don't have to pay anything. If you want heat pumps, insulation, new windows, that is covered. If you are moderate income, today you can get 30% off the price of solar panels. Those solar panels can be financed, so you don't have to pay to have the big outlay out front, and it's a significant incentive, she said. If you don't qualify for the weatherization program, you will be able to, starting next year, get rebates on the appliances and equipment that will help you reduce your monthly energy bill by up to 30%. It's all about reducing costs for people. Ohio's Republican Senate nominee J.D. Vance tied his Democratic opponent, Representative Tim Ryan, to the Granholm clip on Twitter by tweeting, "If you're poor, Tim Ryan will give you a 30% discount on the solar panels." That's kind of funny to me. So I don't know. There you go with all that mess. But there was something I did want to talk about here. I can tell you about it, but I'd rather read the article to you. I don't know where it's at now. Maybe it went off the feed. But there's a bank in Australia. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up real quick because it's kind of caught my attention as one of the ways that your life will be dictated to you by corporate policy. Hold on one second. Australian bank won't loan on gas. So we can find it real quick. Okay. Let's see if that's the one I want to read here. I'll try. All right. A bank in Australia to ditch fossil fuel car loans in a push for EV future. An Australian bank will stop offering loans for new fossil fuel cars from 2025 in a step it says will encourage more people to buy electric vehicles. In other words, the bank, starting in 2025, which we're about to be in 2023. This is only 2 to 3 years away, right? If you go in there to buy a new car that is a gas burner, they're not going to loan you the money. They're not going to loan you the money because it's gas or diesel. Now, if more banks, if any banks in the United States start this trend, that's gonna drive things. So, do you see how easy it is to manipulate us? Do you see how easy it is to control us? Corporate America, you can say all you want about politics, Republicans versus Democrats. Corporate America has us by the balls. They're the ones that dictate our lives. So look and see who they're giving their money to. That's where you can kind of find out some things. But let's see what y'all got to say this morning. Y'all are active on Facebook and on Discord. I appreciate each and every one of you that are on this morning. Good morning to everybody. Let's see. Charles says, if you're low income, more than likely you either live in a mobile home or a government subsidized housing, not a great demand or use for solar panels on these structures. That's an excellent point. James Forrest, so let me understand this. If you're struggling, the cure is to finance solar panels, creating more debt to reduce your utility costs. That's what, Lord have mercy. I've never heard it ring like that. What is going on? Good morning, caller. What's on your mind today?
Good morning, Steve. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir. Man, I don't know if I know you didn't because you were on the phone, but it was ringing real loud. I'm going to have to see if I can figure that out while I talk to you. What's on your mind this morning?
Well, if one of our listeners was that red car in Lake Park that just about, you just about died pulling out in front of me.
Oof.
So
not good.
Watch it.
Not good. Not good.
Not good. About the corporations running our lives. Yeah, that's called capitalism, Steve.
Man, I don't know.
Unbridled capitalism.
Yeah, baby. I guess you could call it capitalism, but it's beyond the scope, if you ask me. So, but I mean, it's up to them.
Me too.
It's up to them. You know, it's up to them. If they want to do that, if they think their business model can sustain it, more power to them.
Well, hopefully the free market will check that, and as long as we keep the free market in this country, and other financial institutions or entrepreneurs that have the ability to start a financial institution recognize the need for a lending institution for the old gas burners, one will come up because that's a way to make money, right?
Oh yeah, all dictated by money. That's what I don't get with this bank. You would think that the shareholders would have a problem with this because the demand right now, as we sit, and I guess they're speculating towards 2025. This is not a move to make money. This is a move to control the purchasing habits of the consumer.
Yes. And I have a friend, matter of fact, I know two fellows that are engineers that have told me exactly that. And I heard somebody, the story triangulates because I heard somebody on late night radio confirm it. And I was kind of half asleep. I didn't get all the details, but they've told me for years that you're never going to have until they figure out how to control it and meld it into the current grid. The way solar panels would operate ideally is to get you off the grid. Or have like a subdivision would have a small farm and they would be off the grid. Now Georgia Power doesn't want that. Colquitt Electric doesn't want that. Pepco doesn't want that. Pepco from where I'm from, up in Maryland. All of the co-ops and power companies across the United States, they don't want that.
No, they sure don't.
So you think they're lobbying at some level to prevent that? There was a fellow on late night radio that has suggested exactly that the battery technology existed decades ago to do that, and it was scuttled.
Well, the Ford company invented a battery decades ago that would run a car, for a lengthy portion of time, and it was buried. So you don't understand, or you understand, but what you have to understand as public is that there are forces out there that money controls everything. If a super idea, well, let's go straight to the big one, the cure for cancer. It's always been lobbied, or it's always been alleged that we could cure cancer and that we probably have the cure for cancer, but we can't afford to cure cancer. Think about that. Think about all the doctors in your network. Think about all the people who are trained, all the cells, all the pharmaceuticals, all the equipment, all the specialized cares, all the money that goes into the treating of cancer. that money would go away if we cured cancer, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely it would.
So
I've thought for a long time if a scientist out there could develop a cure for about a nickel a dose, his life would be in danger.
that's exactly right.
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry when you factor in the diagnostic equipment, the pharmaceuticals, like you said, a whole discipline of medicine, oncology. Hell, we've got a huge hospital there in Jacksonville, MD Anderson Cancer Center, a 15, 16-story building dedicated to it.
That's right. And
all that going.
And that's just
over
in that one city.
A nickel tablet?
Yeah.
Nah,
in
that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, in one city. In 2019, the national patient economic burden associated with cancer was $21 billion, made up of patient out-of-pocket costs of $16 billion and patient time cost of $4 billion. So it's multi-billion dollars. That's the impact in patient economic burden. Okay, that's not how much the doctors are making or how much is spent in totality on cancer. I mean, just in chemo each year, there's you're spending up to $48,000 on average per person that gets chemo. How many people are receiving chemo each year? They don't want to cure cancer. It would be an economic disaster if they did.
Yeah, and I see it also with the energy. It's obvious if you really look at it, isn't it, that there are forces pulling the levers in the shadows, making crucial, pivotal decisions about our lives.
Yeah.
And they have no accountability. We have no vote against them. We don't know who they are. And I guess, that's the way it is.
Well, I know people get sick of hearing the word corporate personhood, but I mean, that literally is the head of the snake. It really is. I mean, you got shareholders you have to satisfy in all these equations. $156 billion is what we spend annually on cancer, various types. That's the 15 most prevalent types of cancer in the U.S. cost about $156 billion a year.
I'm going to let that go.
Yep. So I don't know. I don't know where we're going with all this. And we're at a battle for the soul of the country when it comes to these corporations. There's two warring factions that are trying their best to seize control, and that is big oil and big battery. That is where the fight is. It seems that big oil is losing, and the reason I know that they're losing is because they are now investing in big battery. So they're taking a huge portion of their money and investing it into green technology because you know what? They don't want to get left behind on the gravy train. So that's what's happening.
Well, I think it's left to be seen if the conversion goes as smooth. I keep thinking there's going to be something else around the corner. Somebody's going to come up with a better technology. The hydrogen cells or something is just going to come along because it just has to.
I think
we're
it's
not
there.
ready for this.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I think it's there. I don't think we're waiting on it to come along. In 2012, I rode in a totally hydrogen powered truck in 2012 in Blakely, Georgia. It literally ran on water. So the technology is already here.
Ran on water. You see, they can't have that though, Steve.
Nope.
You just can't have that. That's just, you can't bleed off of the citizens with that. Water would go up to $5 a gallon, I guess. I suppose we could put ourselves in a water crisis, which in some areas of the country we're already there.
Definitely.
Do we really want to run this nation's automobiles on water? Let's think about that. I don't know.
Well,
we could.
Well, I don't remember exactly how I think the hydrogen truck, I think it actually produced, I don't know, man. I shouldn't even be talking about it. I don't know how it worked exactly, but I know it didn't run on gas and it didn't run on a battery. I don't know if it produced its own. I don't know how it worked, but to your point is there's some technology out there surely that works better than oil and solar or battery or whatever the case may be. I mean, we're going to run around with solar panels on our roofs of our cars one day,
Yeah. There you go. I thought that's a good idea. I could totally see that. They've got to figure out a way to where the oil industry and the power companies that they still have to have an avenue of revenue. They still need a needle in our vein somehow. They've got to be careful what they do, don't they?
They do. That's right. They do. Everything's under a microscope. Everything's under a microscope right now. And there's not just one attack. See, it's not just it's not just one thing. It's really summed up in three things that are deeply intertwined. That's power, money, and access. Not in any particular order, but because if you've got access, you can probably get to the money and the power. If you've got power, you can probably have access to get to the money, and you may already have the money that you need to get the access. So it's not just one thing. It's not just the government wanting control. It's a bunch of people wanting to get paid through that control and through that power. So it's not just one thing. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not just one thing. It's competing. It seems like there's competing elements out there. Mm-hmm. And they want, and the control is our need to have the gas or the electricity, mm-hmm. and they control it. They control the infrastructure to that. I don't know. We're just along for the ride.
Yeah.
I hope I live long enough to retire and say the hell with it, sit home and do nothing. My Dish network went up from $90 a month to $135 a month. How do you get TV out there in the Hithers where you're at? Not to get too far off the trail here.
Well, currently I don't. I kind of just got mad, cut off the TV situation, and quit. I mean, I don't watch TV hardly. And when I do, I watch a movie or something on Netflix, and or Amazon Prime or whatever you call it. I don't really know all the names. We watched.
You got high-speed internet. You access your entertainment that way is what you're telling me.
I wouldn't call it high speed, but I do have internet. It works. It works fine. Now, having said all that, I got to get back into the Dish Network game because football season is coming. So
well, brother, you picked the wrong time to get back into it because they're wanting a premium price for that crap. $135 a month for basic service.
Well, that's probably after your usually what I've done in the past through the years is you sign up for the deal at Dish, and they'll give you a year or 2 year deal locked in at a good low price. And then once your contract's out, they up you. And when they up you, then you switch to direct TV. And then once you peter that one out, then you switch back to Dish. That was the game for years, but I've been out of the game now, so I don't know. But I don't care how much it is. I say that. I mean, I can't afford but so much, but if it's $135, that's just the way it's going to be because I got to watch the Bulldogs. Got to watch them.
Well, I'm going to call them today or tomorrow, and I'm telling them they can have 90 a month that they were having, or they're going to have nothing. Now, you think about that business decision.
Yeah.
90 a month to have that little spark coming in, or nothing.
Well, JT is suggesting Hulu Live. He says it's $69
well, I've got a
month.
smart TV. Yeah. How the hell do I access it? Internet? Yeah. I can't get it to hook with my modem. Yeah. I got a little Verizon modem, but it's fast enough to do streaming video on my computers. I can't get that stupid TV to link to it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a JT question. That's his area. That's his
JT,
area. So
come on over, man. I'll cook you dinner one day if you get 6-pack something. We'll figure out a way to compensate you.
There you go. Cashola is always a good way to compensate.
Yeah, cashola. That's what I need. I am sick of this. All right, Steve. Glad to have you back on my ride, man.
All right, appreciate it, T-Rex. Have a good day,
Give them hell.
All right, man.
Give them hell.
I'll get them. All right. Bye-bye. 229-469-1417. Renee brought up something I also saw over the weekend about I don't want to steal my own thunder here. Hold on one second. I'm having a little hard time getting going this morning, folks. Just bear with me. White people are banned from off-campus UC Berkeley student housing common areas. No white people allowed here. This is 2022, and we got to control the white people. A private housing co-op just off the University of California, Berkeley campus has banned white visitors in common areas or without consent from other tenants. So if you don't have a white people permission slip, you can't go in there, evidently. The Person of Color Theme House is a housing co-op located near UC Berkeley that aims to provide housing to low-income, first-generation immigrant and marginalized students of color, according to its website. It is a private venture and is not affiliated with the university. Now, having said that, I'm 100% on their side. 100%. If they are a private entity, they're not taking any of my tax dollars, they're not connected with the university in any way, then let them stand on their own. Simple as that to me. I think it's the wrong move in this day and age. If you're trying to put out some sort of new vision of equality and getting along, I don't think you're doing anything to help that. But if you want to do it, then by golly, let it rip, Tater Chip. This is America. You're free to do it. If you want to go down the street and open up a barbershop and it says no black people allowed or no white people allowed, if you ain't taking my taxpayer money, let the court of public opinion take care of you. If you can do it, let it rip. So there you go. I just think it's hypocritical in the face of the mission that people like that are trying to put out there. It just makes no sense whatsoever to me. And I don't think it's a step forward. I think it's holding you back. But that's just me. David says, I hooked an inside antenna up to my TV, gets lots of local programs. The only reason I keep Sling on the side is to watch the Bulldogs. After the season, I'll delete Sling. Sling runs about $69. Now, Sling, so Danny says Sling is about $40 a month, and you can get any college football game you want. Really? But the problem with that is, I'm assuming, let me ask you this, Danny, and anybody else that has this sort of stuff. If I have Netflix, Peacock TV, Paramount, and I guess I'm watching TV there with no interruptions, there's no buffering or anything like that, that's not live TV. So my question is it your understanding that if I get the Sling TV, that I'm going to be able to watch college football and it's not going to buffer and it's not going to do anything like that? Is that right? Do you think that? Yes, you're good then, Steve. Okay, I take JT. If JT says I can, then I ain't going to get this network. We'll get Sling TV. So JT, Sling, is that what I can watch? I just want to watch college football. Danny says yes. Corey says yes. JT says yes. So is Sling the best one to get to watch college football? There's that loud ring again. I don't know if y'all hearing it or not, but I'm telling you, that is loud. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind?
Hey, morning, Steve.
What's going on? What's going on?
How much? What's your internet speed? Do you know?
I haven't checked it in a while. When I was, 2 years ago, roughly, or whenever I was trying to broadcast my show from the house, JT and we didn't have enough upload speed. The download speed wasn't the problem. The upload speed had to be adequate, and it just wasn't. And JT may remember, I don't know, but we worked on that. It may be adequate as far as the download speed. I may be worried about nothing.
Well, I'm my wife and I we've got Windstream.
Yeah.
Here.
That's what I have. That's what I got.
And we're paying for 25 megabits per second.
Mm-hmm.
And we get all of our television via streaming.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We kicked the dish a long time ago.
Right.
But our service is a little service called Fubo, Fubo.
Mm-hmm.
We tried Hulu, and Hulu was fine, but there was a couple of little quirks about it my wife didn't like. But this Fubo TV has been excellent for us.
Right. Well, I have to check that out.
It's about the same price as Hulu, $60-something bucks, and you get local channels. You get all the sports channels, and we ain't going back, man.
Well, I guess I can try it, and if it don't work, I can cancel it immediately. Is there a long-term contract?
No, you ain't got no long-term nothing with it. Let's see. Here, I'm looking. I just run the speed test. I got
I got 27.3 megabits per second download, and it looks like I'm gonna have about 2 in the upload, which it seems to be adequate
Okay.
with our speed. So,
Okay.
but it never buffers.
Good deal. That's what I'm going on. See, my problem is I didn't have internet for the longest time out at the house, and I finally pulled some strings and got it, got it down my long driveway and finally got it there. JT and I were so excited about having it and everything, and then the upload speed just didn't work because
Yeah.
I don't know if it was because of the voltage drop or whatever the case may be, but it now that I'm talking about this, it's occurring to me that I mean, the kids watch all kind of, channels on their streaming channels, and there's never no problem. So I guess there shouldn't be any problem with Sling or Fubo or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. So
Well, we've got a couple of, we've got one smart TV that works without it, but the other ones, we just get a little device called a Roku,
yeah.
and that's what sends the signal from the internet to the television. And
Gotcha.
it works just fine. Now, there is one issue if you're watching a football game and you're watching, say, ESPN, and you don't like the announcer and you want to hear the game, the play-by-play on radio.
Right.
It's not going to work because there's probably 15 seconds difference in live and what you're getting streaming.
Gotcha. Yeah. I don't care much about that too much. It's as long as I see it within 15 seconds, I'm good with that, I think.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But there's options out there for old T-Rex.
I hear you. That's good. T-Rex and me. That's good. I appreciate it. This is why we talk about things like this. This is life. This is what you get with this program. We talk about whatever's on our mind. And today, trying to figure out how to watch our beloved Georgia Bulldogs was on our minds. And
Clemson Tigers.
And Clemson Tigers. We'll include them in the family of fine football teams. That's for sure.
Take care, Steve.
All right. See you, John. Thank you so much. All right. 229-469-1417. I guess we're going to put up with that ringing because I cannot figure out how to turn it off. Larry has goofing off in San Diego. He flew out yesterday. He's on business out there, so I'll have to call him later and see if he can tell me how to do that. But good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind today?
Hey, Steve.
Hey.
So, it don't matter about the upload speed whenever you're streaming. It's the download speed.
And I'm sure I'm okay based on what you remember there. What I'll probably do is
you good.
Yeah, I got I may call you later, maybe not today, but later on in the week. I think I got not this weekend, but the next weekend is when the football season starts. So I got a little time, but if I have any problems, I might get you over there to help me out. But I got one specific TV that I'm going to be camping out watching this on, and I just want to make sure it's operating at full function. And I understand it before kickoff. I know you can help me out with that.
Absolutely. I'll help T-Rex too. It ain't that big a deal. And all of those services are about the same. Hulu, Sling, Fubo, they all about the same.
Yeah. I know you watch football. What kind of service do you have at your house?
Hulu. I've been using Hulu Live since Hulu Live started like 10 years ago.
Okay, so Hulu Live.
I hadn't had cable in forever. I just pay for internet.
So Hulu Live, you watch live football and everything. It'll do everything I want it to do. Okay. 10-4.
Yep, and if anybody wants to watch the Braves right now, you can go on Facebook and to a Facebook page called Tomahawk Talk. And there's going to be somebody on there at about every game streaming the game on there, and you can cast it to your TV if you have a smart TV.
That's pretty cool.
And not only that, if you can't do that, there's an app called DoFu Sports, DoFu Sports. You can download that app and you can watch any game that you want to.
How about that? DoFu Sports. The Braves, speaking of them, they are now 4 games back of the Mets. I was hoping they'd gain a game yesterday.
Another 3 games.
Man, they must not have up there. I'm looking at the ESPN standings. It shows them 4 games back.
Oh, well, never mind. That was yesterday when I was looking at it. I don't know what happened after yesterday.
They lost 8-2.
Yeah, because the Mets had a doubleheader with the Phillies on Saturday, and they lost one of those games.
They did, yeah.
Oh, I know what it was. It's because we lost the darn game to the Astros last night. That's right, 5-4.
We lost 5-4 last night. Yeah,
Yep, and we won 5-4 the night before.
They
Extra
haven't.
innings.
Well, I hope the Mets lost 2 then, because we would be 5 games back then. Because the ESPN had to update it. They're showing the last game we played was an 8-2 loss.
But the good thing is the Mets have to play the Yankees, 2 other good teams in the next 9 games. So we have a good chance to get some games back.
Need to win. Marcell Ozuna, he was caught with a DUI this past weekend. That of course he wasn't hitting at about 214, so it's not a huge loss, I don't think. But
well, he that just made it easy for the Braves, some money wise. You know what I mean? Because they're trying to sign Dansby.
Yeah, that's true.
Dansby's willing to work with them, so sending Ozuna on down the road because he can't keep his self together just made it easy for the Braves.
Yeah, so they got to get somebody to buy that $51 million contract, though, but maybe they will.
Oh, man, I think they're just going to cut him loose and take the loss is what I think.
You're probably right.
Who
probably
in the world is going to take his Ozuna?
I know, you're probably right. 51 million is a chump change now, ain't it? That ain't nothing.
Yeah, it's like $10 in our back pocket.
Ain't that the truth? That's sad. All right, JT, appreciate the help. Appreciate the guidance, brother.
Yes, sir. Y'all let me know if I can help y'all.
All right, we'll do it. See you later.
Later.
All right. 229-469-1417 if you want to get in on the action. The White House has suggested Biden is considering canceling $10,000 more per borrower on student loans, excluding those who earn more than $125,000 a year. That's the campaign promise that he ran on, if I remember correctly. He wasn't going to cancel all the student debt, but he said that he thought at the time you could cancel $10,000 per borrower under 125. Now they've banned some debt now linked to private for-profit institutions already. So I don't know what it's going to actually end up looking like. But the student loan debt is a tremendous amount of money if you add it all together. There's students hold about $1.5 trillion in outstanding federal debt, which is more than either credit card debt or auto loan debt. If you can imagine that, think about credit card debt in the United States, or how many people owe money on their cars. Borrowers for student loans owe more money. 1.6 trillion is what it says here. About 54% of borrowers with outstanding student loan debt owed less than $20,000 as of March 21st, and about 45% of the outstanding debt was held by the 10% of borrowers owing $80,000 or more. That's a lot of dough to owe. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind today?
Good morning, sir.
What's up, Big B?
Well, 2 reasons for reporting, and we'll do the easy one first.
Okay.
Was not able to record my cooking episode this weekend. I had my granddaughter and my tripod didn't come in from Amazon.
I hear you. Well, you'll be cooking more than just this past weekend. I can guarantee you that.
Oh, sure. And it was a success. We had the girls over, and everybody enjoyed it. So
that's awesome.
But no, other reason we're calling you talking about what's going on, or just was mentioned just then about the debt relief, quote unquote, for educational debt relief. That's a freaking joke. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
That is a freaking joke.
Yeah, I don't understand it, man. I don't. I have children that went through school, that borrowed money to go through school, that are paying that money back as we speak, and they knew full well what they were getting themselves into. They're not struggling with it because they were, they did it the right way. Kyle, he lives up in Atlanta. He works for Home Depot corporate. He's got a fantastic job. He makes good money. He pays his student loan debt back. He won't qualify under these parameters. He's fortunate to make too much money, if there is a certain such a thing, but he won't get any forgiveness. So, but why? So how are they going to not give him $10,000 off of his student loan debt which honestly I don't think he owes any more now. But hypothetically, if he, you know, why are they picking and choosing like that? What makes that right? What makes somebody that makes $124,000 a year get $10,000 off, and the guy that makes 125 don't get any help? Or let's just be honest. I don't care if you make $250,000 a year or $50,000 a year. If you're going to subsidize them with mine and your taxpayer money, why are you penalizing one guy's success and rewarding one guy's being not as successful? Don't seem right here in the land of the free and the home of the brave.
But they've been doing the same thing with our tax money and other things, Steve.
Of course,
look at it. I'm serious.
Of course,
and I've said this before on here. Bonus checks, and it's right now in the state of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
I get a bonus check at the end of the year. Well, it'd be at the first year for this year's work. It's taxed right at 47.5%.
Mm-hmm.
All the holdings is took out of it.
Yep.
So they're penalized. They're taking half my money from me busting my can to do better, to make more, to give it to somebody who chooses not to. And granted, not everybody chooses not to work or somebody to be sick. I get that. But I mean, just from what I see in travels and look and see who ain't working, who don't want to work. Anybody that's got a little bit of work ethic can be successful in any job they put their mind to. And you said this, you know, you're setting yourself up for failure, you're setting yourself up for success. It's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
You being the one, you taking personal responsibility.
Yep.
But that's the whole thing. Everybody wants to, I'm using this wrong terminology. The majority of the people want to use the government as a daddy, as a banker, as a food store. They want to run to them for security.
It's a safety net.
You know?
It's a safety net. There's no.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
all it is. It's a safety net.
The fear of failure is what creates billionaires. You know what I mean? And millionaires. The fear of failure. You launch out onto this business venture or this, career path. You fear that there could be a possibility of failure, so you work your tail off to prevent yourself from failing. When you take that fear element out of there and you know in the back of your mind, well, I'm going to give this a shot. But the good news is if it don't work, then I can file bankruptcy. Or if it don't work, the federal government will take care of me. Or if there's a safety net, then you're not motivated to try quite as hard as you might have been otherwise. Because if there's no safety net, you got to make this sucker work one way or the other. And if you make a bad choice, well, where's personal responsibility at anymore? If I decide to go to college, look here, I'm a full believer in chasing your dreams and doing what makes you happy. And if going to school and getting some sort of degree in a certain area makes you happy, then that really is all that matters, except for the fact you do have to figure out a way to pay your bills and live so that I don't have to pay them through my 47.5% of my bonus check. You follow me?
I do. Because the regular tax, regular checks around 31 roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen, you see anything on the internet, but there was something that popped up on a feed yesterday. I think but they was bashing California, but they were showing a person's salary. If you had somebody that had 1.5 million in annual salary, broke down where it goes to paying taxes, and basically they netted like 758. That's what their net was after everything was said and done, and it was about 48%. Went to taxes of different,
Mm-hmm.
because California is just eating them alive, and that's the reason there's a mass exodus for those people that can.
Yeah, somebody just sent me a message from YouTube that says, so you're saying you would reject a government check? No, I would not reject a government check. If you get a check in the mail, I don't care if it's a rebate. I don't care if it's food stamps that they missed, that they shouldn't have sent you, or a $250 check from Georgia. I don't care if it's a $10,000 off your student loans. If you get money from the federal government, you better take it because they are raping you. Okay. They raping you at the gas pump, the food store. They're raping you on your check each and every week. I don't care if you're getting the least amount of deductions. I don't care if you get a chance to get money back from the U.S. government and you don't take it. I think you're a moron because they owe you. Trust me, they owe you. They've taken enough from you. I don't care who you are neither. I don't care if you, the guy on food stamps, you getting raped too. If you drive a car, if you pay sales tax, you getting raped too. Keep your damn money. They the ones got it figured out. They really do. Because they taking advantage of the system, and man, you let them fleece us without doing anything about it. You know what? The biggest move you and I make each and every time we get a chance to do something about our taxes, you know what we do? We do the same damn thing we did the last time we had a chance. We keep voting the same problem in because we're scared of the other problem, and yet we keep defining this insanity. We're getting exactly what we deserve. We really are.
And my memory fails me. I can't remember if you mentioned this last week or you might. I know you coming on Thursdays off Wednesday and Friday, but property taxes have gone up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Brooks County, they elected, I think it was Thursday night at a meeting, the Thursday afternoon board meeting, 21% increase in property taxes.
Yeah. Hey,
you know what kind of services we got increase for that?
None, I don't imagine. No. See, Hayhira's facing the same thing. I reached out to one of the Hayhira city councilmen on Friday, I think it was, or Thursday, may have been Thursday. He did send me a text back and said that he would call me. He has not called me yet, so I'm not going to blast him. We get busy and this, that, and the other, but I'm trying to find out what the justification of this is. What's behind it? What's the need to raise taxes almost 25%? For the citizens in Hayhira. Now it's not it don't involve a lot of people because within the city limits, there's just not a lot of people within the actual city limits. So it's only going to raise about $90,000. But my question is, what's the dire need for the $90,000 that you would raise those people's tax at 25%? You know, what are you doing with it?
Well, I'm like a CNN reporter. My source tells me that the state has come down to the counties and said that that the counties were not charging enough as a whole. And it was across the board that every county in the state of Georgia was going up on taxes. I don't know if they were trying to take advantage of the influx of people coming in. I don't know that answer.
Well, I don't know, but I'm going to tell you what that is, if that is true, and I haven't heard that, but that would be an egregious, illegal act to tell someone that you've got to increase it just because the reason is it's too low. No, that ain't going to work right there. That ain't working.
Well, you're right about that, my friend. Well, look here. I'm about to be at my first customer stop this morning, but just wanted to chime in this morning and tell you I'm glad you're back up and about. I know you ain't completely over it, but, you know, we all suffer when the head's not there, so to speak, because
well, I appreciate
my day ain't right. You know what I mean? I just feel that way. In the past 4 or 5 years, my day ain't right if I don't listen to the show and tune in.
Well, I do
whether
appreciate
I call in or not. But I get a little bit. I glean a little bit from the Jimmys, the Joes, the T-Rexes, the Glens. You know, everybody. John. I glean a little bit from everybody.
That's right.
And I truly appreciate you being here.
That's right. Well, I appreciate you and I appreciate the vote of confidence. And yeah, you're right. I used to be the same way before I got on radio. We're creatures of habit. You know, we get up, we do our routine, and if that routine's messed up in any way, it just don't seem quite right. So I used to be that way with Chris Beckham. You know, when I'd listen to Chris and in the mornings he wasn't there, it just kind of disrupted me a little bit. So I know what you mean, but I do appreciate it, B. I hope you have a good day.
I'm about to take care.
All right, see you. Bye. All right, 229-469-1417, the Valdosta transmission number. Trust me, I will not let that ringer ring long when you call. I'll be on it like a I don't know, like a bee on honey, maybe. I don't know. Interesting situation at my house this weekend. Charlie and I was trying to get out and getting feeling a little bit better, and he and I drove the truck around to the back of the pond to put some corn in the deer feeder, and we walked through the woods a little bit, and I came across the big old banana spider web, and I saw it, and I just kind of, they don't normally bother me too much. But anyway, I kind of just swatted the side of the web away, and then it got kind of tangled up on my arm. And I took my hat off and I hit it, and I got through it and kept on going. Didn't think nothing about it. So got in the truck after we did our thing, and lo and behold, I looked down on my arm, and that tarantula was on my arm, and I that startled me. So I did I remained calm and screamed like a girl and knocked it off of me. Well, when I knocked it off of me, it went in Charlie's direction. Now, there's one thing that Charlie don't like in this world, and that is spiders. And if I could have had this on video to put it on TikTok or wherever you would put it, and I could get paid for it, I'd be a gazillionaire. I'd have more money than Forrest Gump, because that boy come unglued. He beat himself to death, me to death, the inside of my truck to death before he was able to get the door open and get outside. It scared him silly. And because when I hit it and swatted it, I don't think it landed on him, but it landed close enough to him that he believed that it was on him. And I believe in his mind that the spider was about to suck his brains out through his nose, and he got out of there. He ran from the truck, from all the way to the back of the pond, back up to the house. And he did not do well with that. And we ain't seen the spider since. I don't know if it's still in the truck or not. I don't know what happened to it. I'm assuming it's in the truck somewhere. So on the way to work this morning before daylight, I was a little bit concerned that thing might start crawling on me. So I'm going to be on the lookout for him for a few days. 229-469-1417. So Aaron brought up a good point. I thought it may it resonated with me. It probably will with you if I can find it real quick. It's not a government check anyway. That money belongs to the people, not the damn government. He's right. So when you get a government check, remember you ain't getting a check from the government. You're basically getting a check from yourself and your friends. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind today?
Good morning, sir.
What's up, Big Glenn?
Nice calling too. You talking about those banana spider? I'm gonna tell you, them things are deadly, sir.
They are. They got to be. They'll scare you to death for sure.
Me and my brothers was playing. We running out there, Cowboys and Indians or whatever you want to call it. We was out there running through the doggone woods, and I come around that corner on one of them trails, and there was one that had a web across the trail. I broke my nose
trying to get away from it.
Yeah. No, he landed on my face. So my initial reaction was to spot him.
So you punched yourself out, is what you're saying. That's
I
funny,
broke my own nose because there's a banana spider on my face.
Yeah, that I can see that happening. We've all had them things, get on us like that and startle us. But I've never seen anybody have quite. This is the world's worst reaction that I've witnessed from him. I just, and then usually you'll laugh about it later. It ain't funny. It still ain't funny to him. He's traumatized. He's traumatized. Ain't no doubt about it. Yeah.
That makes it even funnier.
Yeah, it was terrible right there. It was terrible. I felt sorry for him.
Yeah, I don't know. Listening to you, I'm having technological issues. I got me a new phone over the weekend.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. And yeah, man, it ain't getting along.
Yeah, you have to relearn them, and that's hard sometimes.
It belongs to me. It's supposed to learn me, but evidently that ain't happening.
Mm-hmm.
It don't like your show at all.
It must be a Democrat phone.
It's got to be a Democrat phone. But I'm gonna have to teach you that they just stay tuned in.
So I can learn.
Yeah, we ain't. Anyway, it's a work in progress.
I was seeing some post activity on your Facebook as I was laid up trying to get straightened out this weekend. That you said it. Excuse me. You had some good things happening in your life, and you didn't elaborate on it, but I'm glad to hear that. It's always good to hear people have good things going on in their lives.
Yeah, and that right there, my life is an open book, but there's this right here. I kind of want to get a little further down the road before I make the announcement. But if you want to call me off air, I'll let you know what's going on. I don't mind sharing with people like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something I'm really excited about.
That's good. Good stuff.
And I need to talk to you anyway.
Okay.
And it's going about some a tad bit of fence work.
Okay.
Yeah.
10 folks.
Yeah, we can handle that over here.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
I found some tracks over on my east field this weekend that weren't mine. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Tire track.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We need to eradicate that problem.
We can do that. We can do that.
But what I was calling about is the doggone the student loan relief.
Yeah.
Man, what bothers me about that is I didn't go to college.
Mm-hmm.
I went to school for a couple of years, and I paid that out of my own pocket.
That's right.
I have a problem with somebody taking my money. I opted not to go to college. For those of y'all that did, that went to school, I'm happy for you. You make your life choices. I made mine. Why in the hell are they taking my money and giving it to somebody that went and then decide, oh my God, now I can't afford it?
Because I'll tell you, this is what really sucks to me. This is something I've been really thinking about, pondering, trying to, along with thinking about what do we need to do with it, think about how it happened, how can we reverse it, accepting the fact, or maybe not accepting, but realizing that once it happens, we're not going to reverse it. That's right. This happened in 1913 with the 16th Amendment, plain and simple. Anything to do with taxes, anything to do with the government's ability to take our money before we even get our damn hands on it, in most cases, and distribute it as they see fit. Now, the argument from the other side will say, well, your elected officials, they do it. Okay. I didn't elect the officials that are voting to do this. I didn't do that. This happened in 1913. My ass wasn't even thought of. Okay. Right. So now me and you are paying for this. And to make matters even worse, even though we don't have to make matters worse than not having a say so in where the money goes. And don't give me this bull crap about elected officials, our elected officials. I don't want to hear that. We have no say so in this money, where this money goes. We just don't. On top of that, it's not even applied evenly by virtue of what you just said. If you didn't go to college, which many people didn't, you went to trade school, you don't have student loans, or you paid all the student loans back. You mean to tell me that there's certain class of people, in this case making less than $125 a year, that went to college, whether they're doing good or not? Now understand this, Glenn, and I know you do. I'm saying this for everybody else. Not all the people who got student loans are having any trouble at all paying them back.
Right.
Okay.
Everybody ain't a deadbeat.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people have a good job. They come out of college, they're making $100,000 a year, $80,000 a year, $120,000 a year. They're not even asking for any help. We're just going to give it to them. But you and I ain't getting crap, and they're using our money to do it. This is teetotal bullshit any way you look at it.
Yeah, and most people got, the average person when they go to school is they're going to school for some in a field of study that they're hoping to make a career out of and can actually make some money off of. But then we got people that's going out there and studying ancient Greek mythology and basket weaving.
Yeah.
And thinking, I can't find a job in my field. Mm-hmm. Really? Imagine that.
Yeah.
And on top of, I had a conversation with a young lady, and it's been a few years ago when the subject of student loan forgiveness was just, coming about. And she was all excited, because, she was going, we should be able to go to college for free and yada, 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 this, that, and the other. And I told her, I said, ma'am, I beg to differ, but, if you want a higher education, you need to pay for it. I shouldn't have to pay for your college. No. I couldn't afford to go. Yeah. You can't afford to go. So why in the hell are you asking me to pay your bills? And she just told me I was just mean. I'm like, no, that's not mean. This is life.
Mm-hmm.
They
took your decision away from you. If they weren't doing that to you, taking your money like that, and you met some lady or knew somebody or a friend of the family, or whatever the case may be, and you saw the opportunity and they said, you know, I really want to go to college. I have an interest in this. I want to study this. You may consider helping her out. You know, I don't know. You probably wouldn't, but that's fine. That's freedom, right?
That's right.
But for you to be just excited, look here, Glenn, you have absolutely no input in the decision whatsoever. But we're going to take a percentage of your income and we're going to put it in a pool with other people's percentage of income, and we're going to spend it as we see fit. Now, if you want to have a say so in it, then you need to go vote.
Yeah, I mean, just take my daughter for instance. I mean, when she was in high school and coming to, you know, and making those decisions, I was prepared, you know, to do whatever I needed to do. If she decided she wanted to go to college, I was prepared to go and make sure if she wanted to go, I was making sure that she could, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
You know me, I'm not a rich man,
right?
But yeah, I was, you know, that I wouldn't, if she said, Daddy, I want to go to, you know, college, you know, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's make this happen. Now you ain't going to Harvard.
Yeah.
But you know, we'll make sure you can go to college. So, I mean, but there again, I had input in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we don't have any in this.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of input, you was talking about straight out the box this morning. You was talking about the bank in Australia that ain't gonna loan no money for
gas and diesel. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we if I was a patron, a customer of that bank, and I got that news, guess what? I'm changing banks. And,
yeah.
You know, we still do have the opportunity with these corporations, unless they all gang up on us and band together and say we as a whole, the banking industry is not loaning any more money on fossil fuels. If the bank I use, Bank Ozark, if I found out that if they come up with a policy like that, guess what? You know, I'm not here no more. I've enjoyed it as long as I've been here, but no, I'm not doing this. So if you start moving with your feet, so to speak, I mean, and this is how, in my opinion, true capitalism is supposed to work. If you start making decisions, and if your product sucks, and you're not giving me what I need as a customer, I'm going somewhere else.
Exactly.
I mean, Steve Nichols Fence Company.
Yeah.
If I'm looking at your work and you're charging 3 times as much, or let's just say Steve Nichols says, you know what, I'm a tree hugger now, so I'm not putting down any more wood posts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with plastic post or some kind of carbon fiber or whatever. You know what, Steve? Yeah, you my buddy and all, but I ain't using you no more. I mean, I like a wood post. They're sturdy. That plastic stuff bends. It don't hold up as long. So, yeah, I'm gonna call Trey. I mean, I know y'all are cousins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just using that.
I don't know what the people involved. I don't know what the dynamic is in Australia right now when it comes to electric vehicles. I mean, 80% of the country may want electric vehicles, and it'll all work out for them. But on its face, it looks to me like that bank is really putting all their eggs into one basket, and they're probably hinging on government policy, forcing people into more vehicles. And it's just I guess it's a strategy for them. But I'm like you, if my attitude here in the United States is that if Citizens Bank and AR decided they're only going to loan, to EV customers, then I'm not going to seek a loan at there. I'll go next door to Commercial Bank, get my loan for my diesel truck or whatever. And I guess, as long as I got the freedom to do that, I guess it's okay. It just seems like the government is encroaching into my decision-making process here in the United States.
It definitely is.
Anyway.
It definitely is, sir.
All right, my brother. Well, I'm gonna go take a
Yeah,
quick break real quick.
I think gone a little long, and so we're gonna bail out. Let somebody else have it.
Okay.
We're gonna see you back.
All right, man. See you later. Excuse me. 229-469-1417. When I get back, well, I'll go ahead and take it now. So, good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind?
Steve, I'm glad you're back.
I am back in the saddle, brother.
Yes, I'm so glad. I thought the FBI may have taken you away for saying something bad about Liz Cheney.
No, I actually, there was a point in time Friday and late Friday night, I would have rather been taken by the FBI than to be sick, but I made it through it and I'm here.
I know. Well, they probably released that virus around your place.
I hear you.
Anyway, remember I told you not long ago that, or several times, that the Republicans hate you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching Liz Cheney, and that's a prime example right there. She detested her voters. I mean, the way she talked about them was they were stupid,
Yeah, she did. She did criticize them harshly, no doubt.
Yeah, it was open and raw about how these people really feel about us.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that campaign for them, the ones that go vote for them. It's amazing the hatred that they actually have towards us. I was a big Dick Cheney fan years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, was I dumb, So I'm glad all this happened, because it's a prime example of what I've been telling and what other people have been telling. These people literally hate you. They hate Steve Moore, of course, but there you go. But I tell you, I'm glad that she got crushed in this past election. And it really had nothing to do with Donald Trump. It was the fact is that she didn't even serve her constituents. And I'm wondering how many of these people that we're going to vote for this coming election here in Georgia, how many of them just like, I can't believe I have to go campaign for these rubes. I wonder about that.
I think we're at it's going to be interesting. And I don't know if you saw Mitch McConnell's comments over the weekend about,
yes, I did.
I think he was exactly right. I think we have the opportunity on the right. Now I've checked out of this party politics bullshit, because I'm not defining the insanity no more. I'm not going to be part of the problem. That's just a personal choice I've made, but I do lean right. So when I analyze something, I think Mitch McConnell's 100% correct. I think we have the golden opportunity on the right to defeat the left, take back Congress, takes back the Senate. But the problem is we ended up nominating some candidates of some pretty poor quality. And y'all can fill in the blanks there. I don't want to disparage nobody, but everybody can kind of figure that out. The quality of that we ended up with is suspect when it comes to having the confidence that they can go up there and defeat an incumbent. I don't know that they can do it. Now they may not. We'll see in November.
Right.
But one of the issues is, to me, and this is not illegal. It's a strategy. I believe it worked. I believe that the Democrats had a huge hand in helping nominate the people we have in place to try to go up against the Democrat incumbent. And I think that's tedious, man. To me, it ain't looking good at all in the Senate. I actually believe that we're on the cusp of losing 2 seats in the Senate. Now, I may be wrong, but I still think we're going to be okay in the House, which if we can at least, I'm rooting for divided Congress. If we can get the House and the Senate at opposition, that'll keep Biden from being able to do too much damage prior to 2024.
Right. Listen, candidate quality is important. And I looked at his comments, but there's another part to Mitch. He prefers being in the minority. It's easier that way. And he doesn't like a lot of these,
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with
pro-Trump guys that won. He doesn't want them. He would much rather have and work for the Democrats rounding up their 10 cloture votes than he ever would want to lead us. You know,
I don't know that. I don't know that I agree. History doesn't seem to support that notion. That's pure speculation. But he thrived as leader of the majority. I mean, look at what he did with the Supreme Court justices.
It's easier, but
he prefers to
be
be the leader. I believe. I don't think he wants to be the minority.
Yeah. Well, we'll just have to see. But one thing's for sure, I am just glad to see. And if she's saying, you know what, the worst thing we could ever do to the Democrats, give them Liz Cheney. That would be the worst thing we could give them. They don't even deserve that.
I can tell you this. I do admire one thing about Cheney, and I think she's on the wrong side of some of the things that she says, but extremely principled person. She stood by her convictions, knowing she was about to get her ass kicked, and she stood there and not only stood there and took it, she doubled down on it. So I do admire her for standing on her principles, even though I think that she's coming out of a place that's probably not best for the country. That's just my opinion of that. But she did stick to her guns. So I do give her that. And
thank God the people in Wyoming stick to theirs. But don't worry about Liz Cheney. She'll have a sweet MSNBC or CNN gig. She's made plenty of money at this. And and you know what? She doesn't have to pretend that she's from Wyoming and be away from those smelly, Trumpers. Now she can be back in Northern Virginia, representing, making money, and and get her a little praise. There was nothing heroic about her. There's no principles about her, none at all.
I know that's exactly what principles are. I mean, I know you don't recognize that, but that's exactly what principles are. Though I don't I don't agree with her. I think this whole January 6th thing. I disagree with that, but it don't matter when you're talking about her principles. It don't matter what I think about her principles. It's about whether she sticks to it or not. And she did. So for that, it is what it is. That don't mean I agree. That don't mean I damn sure don't like her, but it's just like Bernie Sanders. The most principled person in all of politics is Bernie Sanders. There's no doubt about that. There's no argument from anybody. You cannot make a logical argument against that. He is the most principled person. He just happens to be on the wrong side of everything that I believe and hold dear in this country. But
anybody that gets kicked out of the hippie commune for not working, has my admiration. I got to be honest with there. The only difference between Liz Cheney and Hillary Clinton is Hillary Clinton's a lot nicer. Well, listen, God bless you, Steve. I hope you get over your illness, okay?
I'll whip it.
We need you back in.
I'll whip it.
We need you full on, okay?
All right, see you, man.
Hey, bye-bye.
All right, bye. Going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Freedom with Steve Nichols. Won't take but a second.
Well, 1 hour is gone. If you made it this far, you are an official freedom fighter. Don't forget to visit freedomnetworks.com. Click on featured advertisers and support these businesses. They can advertise anywhere. They choose this show as a way to support the effort of preserving and defending freedom. Now, back to the show with Steve.
All right, back on Freedom with Steve Nichols, broadcasting live every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Joe back at Novick, Road to Concord. It'll come on today as it did every day last week at 9 a.m. Joe's doing a good job, so I appreciate y'all supporting him, sticking to him when you can. When I leave here, he comes on right after me, so stay tuned for that. And if you miss him, you can go back and listen to the archived version on Facebook or on the website freedomnetworks.com. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. Talking about taxes and doing things with our money that maybe we didn't want. I mean, you vote in representatives to spend the tax money, right? But we all know that the spending of the tax money has gone askew. It's all over the board. Spending money for things I don't think that the founding fathers intended on using taxpayer money to fund. All right. Now, one thing locally is the amphitheater. I saw somebody talk about it on Facebook here in the comments, and this is something that there's probably a lot of people in the community that say, hey, this is a great thing. And, this is a good thing. I'm not saying it's not a bad thing for the community. I mean, hell, it's great. I just don't think you should use taxpayer money to do it. I just don't. But I don't think you should spend or use my tax money to send to a country that wants to kill me neither. But that's just me. I've always said you can make a God of personal principles. I guess that's okay too. I've always said you can make a God of personal principles. I guess that's okay. I don't understand what that means, really. You'd have to expand on that. My personal principles are built with my belief in God every step of the way. So I'm sure there's a point that was trying to be made with that. I don't know. One person's principles aren't the same as another principles. And most of the time, or many times, you're not going to agree within each other. But the question is, are you going to stick to your principles, or are you going to go back and forth and waver? I suggest that if you waver, you don't have principles. And that's what I'm saying. She didn't waver. I thought she was on the wrong side. Bernie Sanders, he don't waver. But I think their principles are diametrically opposed to mine that don't waver. So 229-469-1417. She said so bad principles. She said so bad. I'm lost here. I must have missed something. Yeah, I don't agree with her principles. I know y'all don't either. So that's the point there. So anyway, back to the amphitheater. They use tax money from the citizens of Valdosta. I don't know exactly how it was funded. I don't know if it was from sales tax in the city. I don't really know how they funded it. I'd have to, I don't know how that is. 229-469-1417. Those are 10. I'm trying to read a little bit. It doesn't say. I'd have to do some research on that. The amphitheater's on Lee Street, downtown. It opened up in the last week or two. Barbara says, is there another amphitheater going up beside the one being built by VSU? I don't know. I didn't know VSU was actually building one either. I hadn't paid. I know that I know the one that the city built on Lee Street's been under construction for quite some time. That's the only one I knew about. I haven't been around VSU lately, so I wasn't aware of their one. Why is Congress exempt from IRS audit? I didn't know they were. I've heard somebody say that, but I haven't tried to see if it was true or not. So anyway, what's on your mind this morning? Let's look at the weather real quick. See what's going on this week. 24% chance of rain today. It says overcast, a stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High of 86. Winds out of the west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, scattered thunderstorms early, then cloudy skies after midnight. Low of 71 degrees. Winds light and variable. Chance of rain is 40%. That is your Recycling Center Equipment weather report located at 900 Boundary Street. Recycle Center Equipment can handle all of your recycling needs, whether it's old steel, iron, old junk car, LP gas bottles. Make sure you punch a hole in them for safety reasons if you bring them. Aluminum cans, copper wire, whatever the case may be. They open at 9 a.m. this morning. You can call them at 229-563-5300. The Fish and Game Report brought to you by Plantation Creek Real Estate. This morning, 11 a.m. is the peak bite up in the good range. It bumps up again around 6 p.m. into the good range. Never gets more than halfway in the good range, even at midnight, which is the peak bite. So, but pretty consistent in the good range. Three good humps in the 24-hour period. Don't know how that's going to actually result, as far as fishing goes, but I know they don't bite inside your living room. So go fishing if you can and take a kid with you. Plantation Creek Real Estate is the place to go for all your real estate needs, whether it's recreational properties or homes. Contact Plantation Creek Real Estate, Reed Hall. He'll get it done. Also go to plantation59.com and check out Plantation 59 Apparel, located in Tifton, right across from Tractor Supply. Y'all check it out. 229-469-1417. Ukraine cities on alert amid fear of ugly Russia attacks. Ukraine had some success bombing some things with using drones, some of the Russian ships and stuff over the weekend. There's a big scare right now, a big fear that Russia's going to do something to sabotage the nuclear facility over there. And, of course, that would cause a big problem for the Ukrainian citizens. And we hope that don't happen. 229-469-1417. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind today?
Good morning, Steve.
What's going on, Sam?
John's favorite friend here.
Oh, here. John has been banned, so you won't hear from him no more.
Well, he's been banned from me a long time ago. I don't care what he has to say. It's his opinion. I was I go to North Georgia or Middle Georgia quite a bit, and I watch the news on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings. And I'm going to tell you, the ads up there, the political ads that Stacey Abrams is putting out are just a bunch of lies, bunch of hearsays, bunch of half-truths. First off, I've shared with some people I didn't get, since you're not on Messenger, I can't find you. They run a thing where Herschel Walker says, well, I work for the cop, one of the counties up there, well, he got an honorary badge.
Mm-hmm.
And he's cutting up about it on whatever he's speaking with. They're only cutting snippets out of his messages or where he's talked before in the past, and they don't tell the whole story. It's kind of like taking a verse from the Bible and running with it and making your own, your own
interpretation,
church over your own cult over it. And then they've got a commercial up there, or an ad, talking about the heartbeat bill and law. Oh, women who have are going to be investigated who have miscarriages. What about rape and incest? All this other stuff. And they got women on there that don't know crap about what an abortion is about and what it does to people and what it does to women and what it does to the child. And here's Kemp. He's got the most mellow, wore out ads you could ever see in your life, and very few of them. She owns the airways in Atlanta. And it is sickening.
Well, it's strategy. It's strategy. It happened the last time too. The problem is she knows this is the way it goes. In the last election, there was and I may be a little bit off, but pretty close. I think that she won 14 or 16 counties in Georgia, and he won 135 or 140 or whatever the case may be. They know that they're going to spend their money in those localities. And on top of that, the strategy seems to be from the Republicans is to save all their money. And I do believe this is I think this is a decent strategy. You're going to see in the last 60 days an onslaught of Republican ads. Now, you won't see them in DeKalb County, Fulton County, or radio or TV stations that hail from those cities, because most of the people that are going to hear them ads, they're not going to vote for Republicans no matter what you say. Now, you'll see the Democrats run ads in Valdosta and Albany and Savannah and Macon and Tifton. And you'll see that because there is a lot of people that will vote for Stacey Abrams. So they're going to do this geographically and demographically consistent with where they think they'll get their votes. Now, another thing is right now the Democrats have more money to spend than the Republicans. That's usually the way it is because a lot of their money comes from out of state. But to your point specifically on Brian Kemp and the abortion and advertising, I think it is imperative to get ads out around that issue. When they bring up in the state of Georgia about rape, incest, the health of the mother, and the health of the baby as it surrounds abortion, the Georgia heartbeat bill allows for all that. So they've got to take back this narrative that there's nothing in the abortion bill that forces a woman in the state of Georgia, that forces a woman to have a baby that was developed out of rape or incest. They can have an abortion if the child was conceived under those two things. If the mother's health is at risk, she can abort. If the child is not viable, if he's going to be born with severe defects, the heartbeat bill allows for abortion for that in the state of Georgia. So they've got to get the truth out there and quit letting this narrative be dictated by the left in a false manner. They got to fight it back. They got to fight back against it.
Oh yeah, they do. I mean, it is sickening. They're talking about ectopic pregnancies. Well, that's going to require the baby being taken because it's going to kill the mother and the child. You know, because it is not a normal pregnancy as far as where the embryo is placed where the embryo wound up at. It didn't make it out of the fallopian tube. So it's going to rupture and it's going to cause the mother to bleed to death. So those are times when you have to make those decisions. And also, you know, the rape and incest is less than 1% of abortions done in America. Less than 1%. And there are women who have been raped or even went through or been victims of incest. And God bless them. I tell you, I just don't know what I would do in that situation. But I also know that these women who have been raped and all have went through abortions, and they said it was worse than the rape. Now, on top of dealing with a rape issue and all of what comes with that, they've got to deal with what they did in an abortion later on down the road. They may not think about it right now, and there's some that can live with it, you know, but there's others that can't. So they've got double the problems that they had before with the abortion after rape or even after incest. The baby cannot help the way from where it was conceived. And so the baby is punished for the sins of the sperm donor, I guess you could call him, because he's not a real father. You know, he took a woman and did things to her that he shouldn't have been doing and forced her. But the ads and everything are sickening. She had an ad in there where a so-called sheriff was berating Kemp and upholding her, and this fool never even was a sheriff.
Yeah, he's a deputy, not a sheriff. Yeah, he never worked in the state of Georgia. He worked for about 4 years in Tallahassee or somewhere. But the good news, in my opinion, this is my opinion. Okay, this is just my opinion, and it ain't worth no more than nobody else's opinion. I don't think in the state of Georgia, abortion is going, I don't think the abortion argument or debate is going to be what gets people to the poll. What's going to get people to the poll in Georgia, and I think across most of the United States. Now, there may be some other states that are outliers, but the economy and money, that's what's going to drive the vote this year. We're going to have another report, and this is going to be big because the Democrats have done a good job, amazingly, of touting this this freaking bill that they signed, and somehow convinced a lot of people that though inflation didn't go up or down, inflation actually went down. That they've actually been able to con people into that. So they're not going to be able to do that in the next reporting periods. The GDP is either going to go up or down, and inflation is either going to go up or down. Fuel's going to keep going up, or it's going to keep going down, or start going back up or going back down. We are going to have an election based solely on the economy in November. In my opinion, if those trends go the way I think they are, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, I think that in Georgia, Kemp wins easier than he did last time. I'm not going to say he's going to win easily, but I believe he'll win. Right. I believe he'll beat Abrams because the turnout on the Democrat side won't be as great. Nationwide, I think that we'll take the House back. I don't think we're going to take the Senate back. I don't think the votes are there, but maybe I'm wrong. But that's just the way I don't think. I just don't think abortion is going to play into it. I just don't.
Yeah. Well, if we can get the House, we can make what's his face, Biden, a lame duck president. He's not going to be able to do anything. Senate's not going to get anything to pass. It's got to go through the House, and the House will be a House that is fiscally responsible. We may have a chance in this country, but if they go and sit there and pass all the crap that the Democrats are passing, we ain't no better off. You know that.
Well, they won't be able to pass
That's what
it.
we got to deal with.
Well, they won't be able to pass it. That's the problem. If
no, they won't be able to pass it, but they'll be able to hold.
Yeah, that's right. The downside of the divided Congress is that nothing good will get done. The upside of it is that nothing bad will get done. That's what the hope is, anyway. That's what the con game is, honestly. I mean, my contention is it don't matter that as far as history concerns, we proved it with Trump. We proved that with Trump and a Republican House and Senate, we still can't get it done. We still can't. We've just proven that time and time again. So I'm done with defining insanity. I'm just not doing it no more. Y'all can keep doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm just.
Well, I'm not staying with any of them. I'm just like, I'm like you. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of electing somebody to go up there and to represent me, and they're representing big business, or they're representing whoever's lining their pockets.
That's exactly right.
And they may start off good. They may start off honorable, but the longer they stay up there, the more it's like going to a bar. The more you hang out there, the worse you get. And your morals and your ethics and everything go down the drain. It's the company you keep, I guess is the old saying. The company you keep is how you'll think and how you'll react. And that's what they're doing. They're up there and they stand around all that stench up there and they get crap all over them. Well, after a while, they quit smelling the stench and start smelling like the stench. But Mark Dice did a little piece. He went out on a beach, and I think it was during 4th of July or something. Anyways, he went out one weekend. He does all these shows, does all these little things. He catches people on the side of the street walking or something. He'll ask them questions. Well, that day he happened to ask him about, what do you think about reparations? Oh, I'm all for reparations. He said, really? He said, there's an African-American over there. Do you mind pulling out $20 and give that to that African-American for reparations? And they look at him like he's crazy. He did it to several people. I bet you 10 people he did that to, and none of them want to pull money out of their pocket and give it to him.
No, they would rather
take
it from
people over and say, hey, this dude wants to give you some money for reparations. And he said, oh, no. And they turn around and walk off. See, it's all about all talk and no walk. You know, it's okay for you and I to pay for reparations, but these people out there, once they're confronted about it, oh no. Well, who do they think is going to pay for it?
Yep.
It's going to come out of their tax dollars, and if they don't pay taxes or work, you know, they don't care.
That's right, Sandy. Go get them today. Appreciate you calling.
All right. Well, y'all have a great week ahead, and love you, John. Talk to you later, Bart.
See you. Bye. Fundraising. Brian Kemp through June 30th, $31.5 million. Stacey Abrams, $49.6 million. The breakdown. Georgia has given Kemp $26.2 million of his $31 million. That's statistically on par with what he got last time in his total raising of $85 million, or $82 million, I think it was. Stacey Abrams, though, out of her $50 million, she's only raised $7 million in Georgia. Her big donor state, California. Now, when are we going to get smart and elect somebody that proposes an amendment to the state Constitution when it comes to campaign contributions? Why don't we just bar out-of-state contributions? Is that something y'all be on board with? Should we? Now, when I say that, how many of you, I've never done it. Not saying I wouldn't. I've just never had any money to give them, I guess. But we watch other state races. We watch the Senate race, for instance, in Pennsylvania with Dr. Oz going up against the Democrat. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. Should we let the citizens of Pennsylvania decide that? Now we're looking at that as, we need to hold the Senate, right? So many of the listeners on this show, I would assume, want Dr. Oz to win that race. My question is, it's okay to want him to win the race. William Murchie says, not very free, Steve. I'd argue just the opposite. I think it's more free. The citizens of the state of Georgia aren't free if the citizens of California are dictating our election. So I would push back on that. John Fetterman, thank you, Water Jug. Water Jug, I'd like you to call in if you got a minute too, and tell us about your mission trip and what you saw on that. I followed you on Facebook, and I'm interested to hear the story and what you saw there. Don't have to be today if you want to call another day, but I'd love to hear from you on that. That was looked like a good trip. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a threat to our freedom that California is dictating our election in the manner of the governor race. So I'd take the totally opposite take on whether or not that's free or not. I think our freedom's being oppressed by $10 million coming from California to elect our governor, and nothing free about that. So anyway, it kind of derailed me when I saw that, but yeah, I mean, so the question is, should we be able to dictate what happens in the state of Pennsylvania, or is that business? Is that their business? I get it. It's okay for, political hacks like most people are to pick a side and want to win, but should we have a say so with our money? Our money. Should we be able to use our money and our power from Georgia to dictate the race in Pennsylvania? I say no. I say that's a threat to the freedom of Pennsylvania. Just my take on it. Y'all can agree or disagree. Doesn't make any difference to me. Again, my opinion is no more valid than y'all's just because I'm on the radio spouting it out. More people might hear it, but it ain't no more accurate, and it is no more important. It just isn't. All right, what else? So anyway, that's the breakdown of the cash, right? She raised $22 million in 2 months with 70% of it coming from out of state. That has got to be bothersome to people. If it's not, man, I don't know what your vision of our country is, man. I just don't. That should not be okay. It just shouldn't. Charles says, how bad a candidate is Oz to be losing to a wacko like Fetterman? See, I don't know. I don't know anything about Oz, and I don't know anything about Fetterman. I just don't, because I just look at things differently than most people. Don't make it right. It's just the way I do. It's just where I've come from. But it's where I've come to or from. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But I just don't like. I don't care what California does. Okay, I don't care what's going out there. I think the people in California need to run their state, and I don't think they need my advice from here in Georgia. On the flip side of that, I don't want to hear their opinion. And when I'm talking about hearing their opinion, I'm talking about through the speaking of their money. Okay. That percentage of her campaign donations coming from out of state, it's just, I'm sorry, but it's egregious. It's egregious. I don't know a better word. She has a huge advantage. Now, I get it. I'm not saying she's doing anything illegal. I'm not saying it's breaking the law, because Kemp's got the same opportunity to take donations from other places. But it to me, as a citizen, it's offensive, and it's a violation of my freedom, a threat to my freedom. That's just me. I don't know. I watch the national picture because I think it's so important that we take the Senate, but I think we lose 4 to 6 seats. I hope I'm wrong. Yeah, I watch it too, and I hope and pray, and I pull, and I want something to happen. But again, I just think I should stop short of actually being able or being allowed to send my money to influence that race. I have a problem with that. I'm not saying it's illegal. It's perfectly legal. What she's doing is perfectly legal. There's nothing wrong with it. That don't make it right necessarily. It's look at the primary process. Is there anything illegal about a voter that's a Democrat going and voting in the primary when they don't have somebody on their side to influence who they run against? Nothing illegal about it. Just don't make it right. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind?
Morning, boss. Good to see you back in the saddle today.
Glad to be back here, Joe. Good deal, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, before I get to my point, I want to share something before I forget it. I just saw a Bay County Sheriff's vehicle with a license plate ZKNR2. Does Jimmy have a twin running around here somewhere?
That's funny right there. That's good stuff.
I'm serious, man. It was right in front of me at the Hardee's where I was getting my drink.
Yeah,
ZKNR2.
Could have been him or one of his offspring, maybe. Who knows?
So, look, what y'all are talking about with outside money.
Yeah.
If we're not going to, if like in my state, if somebody's going to give, Governor DeSantis's competitors a bunch of money from California, if I'm okay with that, I'm not upset with that. Why should I be jumping up and down screaming if Trump gets a lot of money from Russia or Biden gets money from China?
That's a good.
There's
point.
No difference. You're
good
supposed
point.
to be a sovereign state, Georgia.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So if you're going to allow outside money, even if it's another state, in the theory of how our country was put together, then this no longer is a matter of opinion. This is actually, there's a right and wrong there, because we're a federation. We're a representative republic, but we're also a federation. That means that we're not a single nation. We're actually a collection of 50 individual nations.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my opinion, again, founding fathers said so, chief among them being Madison and Jefferson. So there's your two head representatives of the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists before Madison persuaded Jefferson to cross lines and side with the Federalists. But yeah, folks, I mean, if we look to how things are defined, Georgia, you're an independent state. You should be very upset with California messing in your elections with its money, because look at the mess they've made out there. And now, if y'all are okay with them putting their money in your state, they got every right in the world then to make the same mess out of y'all.
If you're going to use the logic or the reasoning, I should say, that Georgia should have a say-so in Pennsylvania's election because that elected official is going to have an influence over what happens in the state of Georgia, then to your point, you shouldn't be upset with Russia donating to one of the other presidential campaigns because policy dictated in the United States going to have an effect over there, right? So
exactly,
logically,
that's apples to apples.
That's exactly right. So logically, you shouldn't have a problem with any of that. So I stand pat on my firm belief is that we are to elect somebody that's willing to propose a state constitutional amendment to bar outside of state campaign contributions to in the state of Georgia. I just don't think you should be able to allowed to do it. And nobody, I've never heard anybody talk about actually campaigning for an amendment to do so. And I suspect
you can do that.
Yeah, I suspect I suspect they don't want to, because even though Kemp hasn't had as much out of state, he ain't gonna send them checks back.
No, I get it. A matter of fact, listening to you, I realized I happen to know the birdie to drop this bug in the ear here that it'll get into the Florida state legislation. And I know the birdie that will bug the first birdie to do something about it. I think I might have to go talk to both of them. I
think you should. I like it.
Yes. I mean, that's part of what we're always asking. What do we do? You just came up with a great idea, and I realized I'm in a position where I know a Florida state legislature, and I know a gentleman who's really good about crawling up on their back and hammering them until they say uncle and do what they're asked to do by their constituents.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to get on both of them. So,
yeah, we need to do something about it.
Good idea.
Yeah. So
all right, brother, I'm gonna let you get. I'm back on out of here. I got my own thing coming up here in a little bit. So
we'll see you at 9:05, and you're doing a great job. Appreciate you doing it.
8:05 Eastern for those that are getting confused on me in the morning over here in my time zone.
So let's talk.
I got to get them to do the math, brother, but they ain't had their coffee yet. They hear 9:05, they tune in an hour late here in my end of the world.
So you actually come on an hour. You come on. So I'm on and you're on at the same hour. Is that what happens?
No. You're in the Eastern time zone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Central. We're an hour behind you.
Okay.
In the way they count time, it'd be like if I tell somebody in California to come on at 9 o'clock, they're going to be coming on as I'm going off.
Okay, I got you. 10-4. All
right.
I
just got to get people to do the math on that.
So you come on at 9 a.m. Eastern time.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes,
gotcha.
sir.
All right.
Yes,
I thought so. I just wanted to make sure. I got confused.
Yep. Nope. You got it right. You go off, and I come on.
All right. 10-4. Appreciate you, Joe.
Take care. Bye.
All right. See you, man. Bye. All right. 229-469-1417. Again, Joe comes on right after me. So y'all make sure that you stay here and listen to him. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind today?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, man.
Hey, Joe misspoke there. He said 8:05 Eastern, and that's what caused your confusion.
10:05. Yeah, it should have been 9:05 Eastern. That's right.
9:05 Eastern. Yeah, it's not often I get the correct Joe, so I had to jump right on there.
You're going to mark this down, right? That's right.
Yeah, it was a brain patoot, but yeah, I called it too. But that's what caused that little bit of confusion that you had there.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right. See you later. 229-469-1417. William Merchant says Alabama is 300 years behind. That's funny right there. I do agree with him on that. What else is on y'all's mind? What I want to hear from you. Call me. Tell me what's happening. Man, that thing's loud. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's up?
Well, I got one question for you, Steve, based on the conversation you've been having about funding.
Yeah.
What if there is a candidate in another state that is a great candidate,
mm-hmm.
but he's receiving no funding from the Republican National Committee?
Well, the abolishment of the Republican National Committee and the Democrat National Committee as the heads of the snake of corporate personhood, if everybody would just listen to me and let's stop that would solve that problem in its totality. But to your point, that is a problem.
Living in the real world.
Yeah, living in the real world, the current conditions right now is that in the primary, you may have 3 or 4 candidates. in that primary, we in this state may see in that state that they've got the golden goose over there. He's the man. We need to see him elected. And yet that the RNC won't give him any money because they're supporting a different candidate. So the question is, do we try to rally behind that candidate and send donations as individuals? That is something to ponder. I say no, as ugly as it may be. I say no. I think we have to have a standard applied equally and evenly. I would settle for just the banning of corporate money into a campaign across state lines. Or I would personally, I don't think the corporation should have the ability to write a check to any candidate in any circumstances, in any conditions, because that is the definition of corporate personhood. A corporation don't have a vote. They're not a person, so they are not to be able to write a check. Now, the owner of the company, that's another argument. But the NRA, the Koch brothers, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, their companies, which would be Tesla and a Microsoft or Amazon or Facebook, they shouldn't be writing checks. I want to destroy the lobby.
It's just beyond me that if a candidate on the Republican side wins his primary,
mm-hmm.
and the voters of that state elect the guy or gal, and then his own party refuses to support him,
mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem stroking an old check and sending them to him.
Well, I look beyond the problem of the check and look to the problem at hand, and that is the duopoly. We have the illusion of a free election.
Okay. Well, how about this, Steve? I think candidates like that are outside of the duopoly. I think they're more of a third-party candidate because they're not receiving financial aid for their campaign through one half of the duopoly.
Well, the problem is as soon as they put that R by their name, then they're squarely a part of the duopoly. It's like Bernie Sanders when he ran against Clinton. Bernie Sanders is an independent. If you look up his name right now, you see an I by his name. Yet when he ran as a Democrat. So he became a part of it, and it cost him.
Well, it's a hard question, and for these candidates to win, they've got to pick a side.
They do. That's it right there. And as long as we keep supporting it, and we look at it as well, what else are we supposed to do? I can't afford to let Stacey Abrams win.
What if these candidates are reform-minded candidates that want to get in there to do all the things that you suggest?
Well, if I ever see one come along, I'll contemplate them, but I don't, they come along in the primaries. Candace Taylor did here in Georgia. And all I knew to do here in Georgia was to go pull the lever for Candace, which I did, which you did, and it wasn't enough. So I don't know other than get on here and try to convince more and more people to stop it.
Well, had Candace prevailed and the Republican whatever committee it is here in Georgia decided not to help fund her through the general, would you have a problem with out-of-state money coming in for her?
I would.
Knowing what
I would.
mission was.
I would, because I'm gonna stick to the principle. I would have a problem with it. I just would. I get it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I totally get it. I don't refute or discredit what you're saying. It's logical. I get it. But we got to draw lines at some point. We can't keep falling back and saying, but. It's just like the Second Amendment, We have the right to keep and bear arms, and that shall not be infringed But what's wrong with the background check? But what's wrong with the 10-day waiting period? You know what I mean?
Everything's wrong with it.
Yeah, and everything's wrong with another state dictating an election. You can't say, in my opinion, now this is just me. I can't say out of one side of my mouth that I'm pissed off that California sent Stacey Abrams $10 million, but if Candace Taylor needs the help, we should take it. I can't do that.
Yeah. Well, the way I look at what your analogy to the Second Amendment was, everything that restricts the Second Amendment is a restriction on our rights.
Mm-hmm.
But a candidate whose main mission is to further our rights, and if she gets money from an outside source, then I feel like those people are interested in expanding our rights with their dollars.
The but comes in that the fact that the other side, you're willing to say, but the reason we do it is because they're sending $10 million to restrict our rights. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want anybody to spend any money restricting my rights.
Okay.
But any money that's spent to further my rights, I think is money well spent.
And there's the conundrum.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Dang, are there any easy answers?
No, there's not.
On anything.
There's not easy answers. There's only, there's only a matter at the end of the day. The matter is your conscience. If you cast a vote and it satisfies your conscience, that's about all you can do.
Yeah, well said.
All right, John.
Well,
Appreciate
okay,
you.
Miss, that was my question for you this morning, and I appreciate the way you answered it.
Well, another thing too. I mean, not to beat the dead horse, but again, I'm gonna go back. If Candace is nominated, and you're worried about the Republican National Committee supporting that candidate, even though she's the nominee, then the problem is not a matter of raising money. The problem is the RNC. And again, I'm sick of it. I'm waging war against it with my voice and with my vote. That's all I know to do.
Yeah. Well, it just really makes no sense why that's not right. They do not want candidates to be elected that are going to try to restrict their access to the cash cow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
let me ask you this while I got you. I'm gonna throw this out here. I'm just thinking, what about now this is taxes, okay? This is our money. What about an amendment, a constitutional amendment that would dictate that we give, I don't know how we'd get there. We can't give everybody money to run, but if we get to a certain point to where we've narrowed the field down to, I don't know, a number of candidates. Again, let's just think back. Let me just think back to the 2016 race. You had Donald Trump going up against 15 or 16 or 17 other Republican candidates at that time. We all remember John Kasich, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Ben Kaysen, so on. There was about 17 of them, I think. On the Democrat side, you had Hillary, you had Bernie, you had about 12 or 13 over there. What if we had some mechanism in place where we used our taxpayer money to give them each X amount of dollars to campaign on? And don't get hung up on the number. Let's just say we give them each $10 million and said, look, that's all you're getting. You can't get campaign contributions from Republican National Committee, Democrat National Committee, corporations, individuals, anybody. Okay. This is all you get. So you run TV ads, you can run radio ads, you can run print ads, you can do mail outs, you can do whatever you want, but everybody gets the same amount of money and no outside influence. And you take that and you run with that. You do the best you can. Would you think something like that might be better than what we have now?
I absolutely do. I think that would eliminate so much of the corruption that we have. I mean, you could not have a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I know we'd have to polish it up. You get it. You know, I mean, you don't want 50 people running. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful. We'd have to figure that out. But we could, you know, all these political action committees. See, like right now in the state of Georgia, there's a political action committee representing Stacey Abrams that is spending millions of dollars outside of that 22, 23 million or $50 million she's collected so far. That ain't coming from Stacey Abrams. That's coming from a political action committee, so a group. Karl Rove's got one on the Republican side. He's going to be spending a crap ton of money. I think Donald Trump has organized one. So they'll spend millions of dollars nationwide in all these races trying to influence. Why don't we just tear that down, give everybody this, put them on a level playing field, put debates up there, fund the debates, and get them on stage so the American people can hear them. And then let's try that a little bit.
Well, I mean, that would be wonderful, but I don't ever see it coming. There's too much money involved, and all these, you know, maybe even Freedom with Steve Nichols say, hey, send me some of these ads. I'll take the money.
Yeah.
I'll grow my brand.
That's exactly right. I mean, I need them to send these political action committees. Y'all send a check. We'll run your ad. I don't care who it is. All right, John.
Well, it's just, you know, with your debate about funding, that's just kind of
great conversation.
About.
Yep. Great conversation. I appreciate it.
Yep.
All
okay.
Right, bye-bye.
Later.
All right. Whoever was calling, y'all call back 229-469-1417. I'll get you on. I mean, we got to have some sort of reform. I don't like the corporate personhood factor. I think we got to cut that off immediately. And there is. See, that won't never take hold. Right now in Congress, I think there is some sort of movement to try to do something about corporate personhood, but it's not going to get enough steam up. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind today?
Hey, there's a couple of things. This is Chris Henley. I was just, I think really opened the door to this super PACs was in 2009. Citizens United versus the FEC.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where this, you know, allowed all this money and all this conglomeration of, you know, people who got the money and companies to really interject into it.
That's right.
And I was just wondering, I'm driving right now, so I really can't look into it. But if you would look that up, it was a 5-4 decision, and the conservative justice prevailed on this one. And this one just allowed it to kind of just whoever wanted to put the money in these corporations. And I really think that was an issue. And something else, part two of my, you know, just interjection here is on trying to figure out how to get candidates we want in. My idea was if we can get candidates to run as Republicans, but knowing that they're going to break up as a group where they have enough gumption, enough people behind them to get, let's say, 5 or 10 congressmen to go and make their own party and split away from the Republican Party. Anyways, that was my 2 points, and I'm going to sign off and let you opine. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Yeah, the caller's talking about the Citizens United case, and it did. I agree with him. It did help pave the way. I don't know that it was an intended or unintended consequence, but the Supreme Court basically upheld that corporations are people, corporate personhood. So by the fact that they're people, then they took away any campaign contribution limits that they can have. And what that did was open the door to allow, you know, wealthy donors and corporations act as people with their money. Of course, you got big oil, you got big battery, you got retail conglomerates like Walmart, you got Amazon. All these people can now donate money just like they were individuals. And that is an effect by the Citizens United decision, which upheld or propped up the fact that corporations are people too. And to me, it's ludicrous. A corporation that they don't live, they don't breathe, they don't eat, they don't feel, they don't reason. The only thing that matters to a corporate person is money. So it doesn't matter about abortion, the death penalty, school choice, religion. None of those things matter in the world of a corporate person. They don't care. If there's legislation out there concerning abortion, and that legislation says that it's going to allow abortion all the way up till the birth of the baby, if it is deemed profitable for that corporation to support that and send money to it, they're going to do so. Conversely, if the legislation bans abortion totally, under any circumstances, at any point of the pregnancy, if it is deemed by that corporate person to be profitable for them to donate money to support it from that side, then they're going to do that too. They have no principles concerning humanity. Their principles are making money, satisfying shareholders. So every move they make, they don't give a damn if they're about to condemn a property. They're going to take a farmer's 200 acres because they need to expand a whatever business that's going to benefit the community and benefit the profit of that corporation. Then they're going to support the taking of that farmer's property. If the corporation makes money off the crops or the livestock that the farmer raises, then they're going to donate money to keep the farmer on his land. Okay? But never in the equation does the corporation stop and say, I wonder what's right here and what's wrong here. What is the moral answer? What satisfies my conscience here? That's never asked because a corporation has no conscience. That is corporate personhood. And until you abolish that, we're going to have PACs and lobbyists and large corporations donating money across state lines to get the politician elected that best suits their bottom line. That's the way we currently work. And every time you go and you pull an R, I know y'all get sick of me hearing this, but every time you pull an R or you pull a D on the federal level, then you are for corporate personhood, in my opinion. You're sanctioning it. You just are. And I just, when I quote unquote woke up and saw that, I decided, man, I can't do it no more. This is the God's honest truth right now. In 2024, no matter who's running for president, if I go in there and pull an R or a D, I will lay my head down that night and feel equally ashamed and embarrassed, and I will feel like I have let myself down by doing so. That's where I'm at. Now, I get you may not be there, and I'm not critical of it. Again, I don't have a problem with the logic of the lesser of two evil vote. I get it. I just can't do it no more. I just can't do it no more. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to take a quick break. Excuse me. I'll be right back.
Wide awake now? We're honored and humbled to share this time with you each and every day. Please consider liking, sharing, and spreading the word by telling others to tune in. Send them to freedomnetworks.com and they can choose their favorite way to enjoy the show. For now, back to Freedom with Steve Nichols. Go get them, Steve.
All right, 229-469-1417. That, excuse me, is the Valdosta Transmission hotline. People are asking me, are we going to be at Doughboys tonight? No, we're not. That our next meeting is scheduled there. We do it on the first and third Mondays. The next one is scheduled for September the 5th. I don't know that we'll do it September 5th, but we'll see. That is I think that's Labor Day weekend, if I'm not mistaken. So we may wait, but I'll keep you updated. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission hotline. What's on your mind?
How's it going?
Going good, man. What's up?
Just been busy. Haven't moved my computer back to the studio yet, but I'm planning on it eventually once we've got to get the weeds cut behind the house, because that's where my studio is, and my computer we haven't moved it back out there yet, and so I'm kind of just
you'll get there, man. Just keep working at it. What's on your mind this morning?
Well, I walked in on you discussing apparently the whole Republican versus Democrat voting thing, where everybody votes for one of the two, and I get frustrated with that too, because it's rather ridiculous, because they're all, sadly, both are just as extreme as one another in a lot of ways, and frankly, it's sad for the country.
It is. I mean, we're
Because
dictated to. We're dictated to. The question is, the corporations. Honestly, I'm just telling you, they really don't care a whole lot about when you get down to the point that your choice in November is this person or this person. 99% of the time, they have had a hand in which two people get to that finish line. And when you get there, most times the corporations, they may have one that they'd rather have over the other, but ultimately they don't care as long as they end up with either this one or this one. All right, the best one on this side is her, and the best one on this side is her or him. And as long as they can dictate that, they don't care a whole lot. Corporate America, is my contention that they don't really care who wins between Kemp and Abrams. They don't care who wins between, Warnock and Herschel Walker, maybe, or, Oz and Fetterman. That they just don't care most of the time. Because if somebody gets elected that they're in control of, they're okay. They can control Raphael Warnock, they believe. They can control Herschel Walker, they believe. And as long as they get to the end, they're okay with that. Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump, they don't want them to. Corporate America, they do not want Bernie Sanders or Donald Trump. I can promise you that. They don't. They won't.
Sad state of affairs. When
it really is. It really is. It is. But that's just my opinion. Like I said,
I was also looking at the website the other day, and it needs a redesign. Well, I'm not saying like visually, because I wouldn't know that, but I'm talking about accessibility wise. The place is a nightmare. Like it's good luck with any blind users having an easy time of accessing that website, because screen readers, voiceovers particularly, it's a mess. Needs to be cleaned up.
All right, my brother. Well, we appreciate the call.
Well, you're gonna have problems.
All right, man. Well, have a good day. Appreciate the call.
You too.
All right, see you. 229-469-1417. That is the Valdosta Transmission hotline. I don't try to claim. I don't try to claim that I know how to go about changing this. My role here is really nothing more than Captain Obvious. You know what I mean? That's basically all I can offer at the moment. It's become blatantly obvious to me what the problem is, and I just don't think everybody sees that. And I think that once more people see what's going on and realize just how dire the situation is, then and only then could we possibly make a change. Errol Fender, he says corporations win either way. It's a tie to them. That's exactly right. It's a tie to them. It really, really, truly is. Mary's asking, when are we going to have some opportunities to break bread together in Valdosta, or she says Quitman. Let me just tell you the plan, Mary, and it's coming. What I envision is getting on a rotation to where every Monday night, I'm either here or there. Now, what I mean by that is if we currently do it in Adel. I'd like to add Valdosta, and then Valdosta next. And then what I want to do is expand and go to Quitman, go to Lakeland, maybe up to Tifton. I look at my demographics here, and we are well represented locally in the 5-county area. And then, of course, I can't go everywhere, but I mean, I'd like to get over to Homerville at some point. So I'm willing to do that, but it's got to make sense. It's got to fit. It's got to be wrapped in a advertiser's package, because what happens is on those I try to do it on Monday night, because on Monday night, that is usually from what I understand from restaurants I've worked with, like Doughboys and then ones in the past, that's the slowest night. And what I like to do is bring in business on them slow nights to help support someone. And then in return, they support me. But I'd love nothing more to get hooked up with a restaurant. I know there's a great Mexican restaurant over there. We could do it there in Quitman. If y'all can help me identify one that may be open to that, then that's what we'll do. We'll try to find one here in Valdosta. I've got a few targets in mind. I just hadn't gotten to that, but maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll put some emphasis on that this week, try to find somebody quicker. So, but if y'all know somebody that owns a restaurant that would be open to that, we've had as many as 17 show up at Doughboys if they spend, $10 on average each, which I think the average probably be more, but if it's $10 each, that's $170 of revenue on a very slow night. That'll offset the cost of the ads and, put the advertising out there. And I think it'd be good. Mary says a lot of restaurants in Valdosta are closed on Monday. Yeah, a lot are, but a lot ain't neither. So, it's just got to fit. And I'm not saying it's got to be on a Monday night. It could be on a Tuesday night, Wednesday night. It don't matter to me about that. That's just a conversation we have, in the course of the discussion with them. So, Sherry Pie says we have Stevens Pizza and they serve adult beverages. That's good. Where's Stevens Pizza at, Sherry? Is that where's that at? Is that in Quitman? The barbecue place where Shorty's used to be seems to be a nice place on 41. It is. Woodstack Barbecue is what that's called, Charles, and it is excellent. Yep. In Quitman, Mary says on the Stevens Pizza. I'm good with that. Somebody talk to them, get them in contact with me. We'll do it. All right, 229-469-1417. Let's look at some other issues. Oil prices. Brent crude's at 96.72 cents, $96.72 a barrel. It's holding pretty steady right now. So we'll see. We have the Scooterville store parking lot, Jimmy says. We'll bring your own sandwich, right? Peanut butter and jelly sandwich for everybody. All right, Bitcoin's at 21,184.55. It's down 12.8% over the past 7 days. So it's trending down right now. The debt clock is, during the time I was out and struggling, it went from 30.6 trillion to 30.7 trillion. Man, it's ticking along at just an absolutely astounding pace. Good Lord. It depresses me when I see that. It's hard to grasp how much money that is, really, but it's a ton. Over on MSNBC, they are, doing their thing. Team Trump's lashing out at DOJ after the Mar-a-Lago search is ever more chaotic. After the Mar-a-Lago search in ever more chaotic ways. Lindsey Graham, he wins a temporary reprieve from testifying in the Trump Georgia probe. So he may or may not have. My gut is that he'll end up having to. One thing that did happen while I was out, and I think this is just my personal analysis, the Donald Trump's CFO of his organization, he's turned. He's flipped. Alan Weisselberg, who pleaded guilty on Thursday, will likely detail the company's alleged crimes at a trial in the fall. Now, to me, this is the one thing that could possibly derail Trump the fastest. This investigation into his tax situation. A good rule of thumb for anyone running a small or large business is to never be in a position where you have to say one of our top executives is a convicted criminal. Unfortunately for the Trump organization, that's exactly the situation it is about to find itself in, as Alan Weisselberg, a longtime chief financial officer, pleaded guilty on Thursday to running a years-long tax scheme with Donald Trump's family business. And if you are thinking this sounds like bad news for the ex-president, you are thinking right. That's what this article says. It's an opinion piece. I'm not going to get into their opinion. I'm going to give you mine. The question is always the what ifs, or what did they know? Now, I've never ran a multi-billion dollar corporation. Okay. But I ran a multi-million dollar corporation. And when I say multi-million dollars, I'm going by sales. Okay. Our company had about $5 million in annual sales. So it was a pretty sizable company. We sold stock on the NASDAQ. We went through the SEC filings. We went through audited financial statements that satisfied the Sarbanes-Oxley Act. So I'm pretty well versed in all of those things. And I held the role and the title of CFO for that company. I was indeed the chief financial officer of that company. And I can tell you this, there was nothing that went on in my company as CFO that my CEO did not know. I did not make a move unbeknownst to the CEO or the COO. Never, not once. I didn't fart without permission. Now that's an exaggeration. But they knew everything we did. Had to. Now, again, there's a difference in a small multi-million dollar company and a large multi-billion dollar company. Also, as I understand it, the corporation was put into a blind trust while President Trump was president. So in theory, if the elements of the blind trust worked and the question of the taxes are in the years that the company was in the trust, then in theory, Trump wouldn't know anything about the moves that Weisselberger or whatever his name was making. So, again, like everything else, we're going to have to wait and see what happens with all of this. It's become crystal clear. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that the Democrat Party is after Donald Trump, along with many on the Republican Party. They don't want him there. He has upset the apple cart. He has, in many, many ways, he has become the guy that has the R by his name, but he's really not an R. So he's a threat. So we'll see what happens, but I think he's exposed a little bit with this CFO guy. I don't know how long he has been CEO of the Trump corporation. How much of a deal has he made? You got to understand now, self-preservation is a huge motivating tactic. I was watching a movie over the weekend. I think it was called Jack Reacher. I've seen it before. And there's a scene in there where this snitch or informant or kind of low-level guy, he gets crossed with the boss. The boss tells the story that he was in a Siberian prison and he got frostbite on his hand. He actually gnawed his fingers off to keep the infection from spreading to the rest of his body. And then he realized if he gnawed the fingers off on his other hand, he could avoid the work detail. So he did that too. So he asked the guy, the snitch wanted forgiveness. And he says, well, show me how committed you are. Show me how loyal you are. And he says, I want you to, bite your fingers off. And he couldn't do it. The instinct to preserve his hand wouldn't let him gnaw his fingers off, obviously. It wouldn't me neither, I don't think. But as a result of him not doing that, he got shot in the head and killed. So anyway, what all with that guy, Weisselberger, or whatever his name is again, what all is he going to give up? Does he know? Does he know that Trump knows some things that how much does he know? You can fill in the blanks. How much is he willing to give up? How much is he willing to turn on his, probably his friend, his partner in ways? I mean, he was the guy that ran the financial side of the Trump empire. You would think that Trump trusted him in ways that you don't normally trust. So how much of that trust is Weisselberger willing to break and defy? So I don't know. Time will tell, right? But I think that there's just a lot going against Donald Trump right now. And another thing is if it comes out and it shows that Trump, he broke the law, is he still going to be able to command the loyalty of the people that are loyal to him now? I mean, is he truly able to break the law? Now, our problem is we don't, we're sitting here wondering, did he really break the law, or was it a setup? Were they after him? Well, we have to contemplate all that. But if it was black and white, with American people, if Trump evaded taxes, filed false reports, took stuff out of the White House that he shouldn't have taken, if he really legitimately did all those things, I just got to believe that the hatred to the left is so great that the right, many people on the right would still support him. I don't know. Let's see here. I'm trying to see where y'all at on this thing here. Joe says, sorry, Water Joe, but he said that the first was to prevent a national religion during the debate over the writing of the First Amendment, which came later. Go back to, I guess they're in a discussion about that. That's too far for me to go back. Aaron says, yeah, that's a right that the states held on to. They did not give the Fed the right to establish a religion or deny the states the right to do so. Jim Burke says, Steve, if you were about flipping DC upside down, how are you not a Trump fan? Both sides are obliviously terrified of him going back to the White House, because he showed me in 4 years that he had no desire to flip Washington upside down. As a matter of fact, it was pretty much business as usual from what I saw. National debt skyrocketed. He trampled my rights by an executive order banning bump stocks. He didn't seem to be overly concerned about getting rid of the swamp as he campaigned on. I mean, he told me he would abolish Obamacare. He didn't. He told me he'd build a wall. He didn't. Again, are you asking me, was he better than Biden? Yeah. So I don't know what you want. I mean, he ain't flipped Washington, D.C. upside down. He didn't do nothing. He really didn't do anything that he told me he would do that I can see. How long have they been going after Trump? Since he announced his presidency, depending on who you say they are. As far as the IRS, I don't know how long they've been going after him. I don't know about that, but the left's been after him ever since he announced his candidacy for president in 2015, I think it was. Dave Wells, you fail to realize that the Constitution says what the Fed can't do, not what the states have the right to do. Those rights not granted to the federal government are reserved to the states or the people. David Wells, Article 6, Section 2 says state judges are bound to everything in the U.S. Constitution. So why would you think a state would have a state church? Renee says there's a TikTok on Trump's accomplishments. Oh, he did a lot. No, he did do a lot. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What is on your mind today?
Good morning again.
What's up, B?
I need your opinion on something.
I'll give it to you, unsolicited or solicited in this case.
All right, go back to 2008.
Okay.
On our presidential election.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think Biden did not run in 2008? He's such a great leader. He's such a great asset for international trade and that kind of thing.
Man, I'd have to do some research into it. I don't know why he didn't, other than the simple fact that I'm assuming Obama came to him and said, "Hey, I'm running, and I'd like to consider you as vice president."
No, I'm sorry. Wrong year. I apologize.
What's that?
Not in 08. I'm sorry. They did run together. I'm sorry. In 2016.
In 2016? Yeah. I think his calculation was that Hillary was going to run and she'd be the shoe-in. I also think that there's a possibility that the Clinton machine and the Clinton power deterred him from running. I think they were in a position of control at that point. That's some of the things that come to the top of my mind.
Well, that's what I was going to get at, because he never threw his hat in the ring, period.
Mm-mm.
And you've seen what they've done to Bernie Sanders, one of their quote unquote colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
They threw him under the bus in 2016 and in 2020.
Yeah.
What I was getting at is, my point is he was not handpicked. He was not chosen. He was their last freaking resort in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want Bernie. You're right. The corporations did not want Bernie.
Mm-mm.
The money did not want Bernie because they had no control over him. He's as volatile as Trump is on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But they had no control over him.
Well, Bernie now has gotten himself into, because of the success of Big Battery, they are now more tolerant. At least that's corporate sector are more tolerant of Bernie, because they see the advantage of having Bernie in there now when it comes to the green policy. They know that they'll profit off of it. So they don't care. Again, they don't care about, this is a great example. They don't care about the communistic, Marxist, socialist Bernie Sanders. They see the opportunity. The corporation does now, because remember, corporations don't care nothing about communism or nothing like that. They care about dollars. So they see now the advantage of supporting Bernie Sanders. I'm going to tell you, the only thing wrong with Bernie Sanders right now is that he's old. Because if he was 10 years younger, he could mount a serious charge for the White House as an independent, because he'd have the backing of corporate personhood, specifically inside Big Battery. They want him in there because of the money they can make. They see what Al Gore did. They see what John Kerry's done. The millions of dollars they're making off of big battery, off the illusion of the technology and the green of big battery. They want Bernie Sanders in there because they will line their pockets. So if the landscape was where Bernie Sanders could run right now, either as a Democrat or an independent, he'd have a shot now because of that right there, in my opinion.
Yep. No, I agree. I agree. And there again, your opinion I value highly, like my own. So that's the reason I was calling back in this morning. But yeah, it's all who gets handpicked. That's what people are still, walking around with blinders on. That we don't choose who gets to be elected and is in control of us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, also on the same hand, why they're trying their damnedest to discredit and disqualify Donald Trump from running in 2024. I don't see no other reason why. Why would they keep hammering at him?
You got to understand something. It's about winning, and many corporations think that having Donald Trump out of the way is going to be more profitable than if he's in there. That's the calculation. It has nothing to do with anything short of that. Not from the corporate standpoint.
And history they can check me on this. The wars were de-escalated under his administration, and big money made in wartime.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So it goes hand in foot. Well, look here, I got a customer beeping in. I catch him, but I appreciate you, buddy.
All right, see you.
See you, bye.
Bye. 229-469-1417. I'm trying to get up to speed on some things. I saw a report that the Bidens are actually working on the wall. Unfortunately, it's a $1 million wall around his home in Delaware. It's either his home in Delaware or his beach house. But yeah, he's putting up a fence around one of those two, if not both. I think it's the beach house. I could be wrong with that, but yeah. Renee says he didn't build a fence because they wouldn't give him the money. Isn't that true? He wanted $6 billion. Correct. How much money did they give Ukraine? It's irrelevant to me. When I judge a candidate, I look at what he's going to do. I used to say, well, if he's willing to get in there and do that, I'm going to vote for him. Now I go further because I've seen him. I've realized that what they're saying is what I want to hear. I want to hear that they're going to build a wall. That's fine. If you want to build a wall, that's fine. Now I zero in on, can you get that done or not? And the obvious has become to look at that. Okay, if I elect Brian Kemp as governor, can he get the heartbeat bill passed? Can he get the constitutional carry passed? He did. I voted for him because I thought he could do it, and he did do it. Donald Trump. I voted for Donald Trump in 2016 for one reason and one reason only, is because I thought, will he seat conservative justices? He did. He put a list out there, and I knew that if he won the election, he would put somebody in from that list, and I didn't have a problem with the list. I voted for him, seriously, period. The wall, everybody under the sun that was intellectually honest knew that there wasn't going to be no wall built. That wasn't going to get done. So anyway, that's how I look at it. So you might get up there and tell me that you're going to do this, but I ain't buying that no more if you can't get it done. If there's not a path for you to get it done and you can't articulate to me that you're going to get it done, then I don't know that I can vote for you. Kemp is established. Kemp is established because he got elected. Once you're elected, you're established. You're part of it. Kemp is corrupt. And many people think that. Many people think that. I don't know. My main reason for voting for Kemp is, wait for it, Stacey Abrams. Well, you and 99% of the people, that's how you're going to vote. Kemp is corrupt, Steve. Again, Renee, he may be. I don't know. Again, I've not tried to go down that path to prove it. I'm not going to take nobody's word for it. If I try to decide for that, then I'll go down that path. But I never have. I don't take it. I just don't take nobody's word for that. Steve, what happened? You talked about the Taylor's votes not counting. I don't know nothing about it. I think I saw something on there that she said that their votes weren't counted. I don't know anything about it. I don't know how they determined that or not. I don't know anything about it, so that's why I ain't commenting. I don't talk about shit I don't know about. It's just that simple. All right, 229-469. It's not that she says, Renee says, guess you need to do more research. It's not a matter of doing more research. It's a matter of doing research. And I have not done any research into whether or not Brian Kemp is corrupt or not. I've not done one stitch of research into that. I don't need to do more. I need to do research. But you're not digging into it. No, Renee, I haven't. I have not had time. I have not had a reason to. I can't cover everything. I don't have time. I just told you why. I just don't. It would take hours and hours and hours and hours of research, and I'd have to put everything else I'm researching on hold. So, hey, Renee, wasn't it you that pointed out we have a nice surplus of revenue in the state now? Yeah, that don't necessarily, that's not a conclusion that he is not corrupt because we have a surplus. Aren't our elections important? Of course they are. That's what we're talking about. I've talked a lot about the election. I don't understand that. Of course they are. 229-14, 229-469-1417. Let's see where the RCP Georgia governor. Let's see. Let me ask you this, Renee. The election is in Georgia is important. The choices the machine gives you is Kemp and Abrams. You're going to do one of three things. You're going to vote for Abrams, which I know you're not, or Kemp or other. Who you voting for? You voting for if you don't mind me asking, you don't have to answer it. I hate to put you on the spot, but I think I know you well enough that I can. You voting Kemp or you voting other? That's the question. Now I did that poll. Everybody knows that poll where I said, I think there was 82 voting for Kemp and so many voting other. I don't even remember the number now, but who you going to vote for? For those who believe that Kemp is corrupt, I'm assuming that you're not going to vote for them. And if the elections are that important, and defeating Stacey Abrams would be that important, I'm just interested to know the train of thought of who you're going to vote for. If you believe, and I see, okay, so, and I appreciate the honest answer. Renee says Kemp, but I don't want to. But after listening to Mike's show last 2 days, I don't even know if my vote will count. See, this is the difference between the way you get to your conclusion and the way I get to mine. If I believed, as you do, that Kemp is corrupt, there is no way and there's nothing under the sun that could make me vote for someone I thought that was corrupt. No way. No. I can't go down the stopgap measure of, I'm not voting for him, I'm voting against her. That's the same problem we've had. I get it. I get the frustration. I get the fact that everybody, if I don't vote Kemp and I don't vote Abrams, if I don't vote Kemp, then everybody under the sky is going to say, well, if you don't vote Kemp, you're voting for her. I reject that. I do. My conscience is clear if I don't vote for either one. I ain't voting for Abrams. I can promise you that. Kemp, I don't know. I don't see it. Maybe. I'll get down and I'll make some conclusions. But another thing, You got the Dominion voting machines that everybody says that they're corrupt, that they're manipulated. I just, man, that all gives me a headache. And again, I'd probably have to spend 3 or 4 hours a day for a couple of weeks trying to decide whether or not I think that Dominion voting machines are corrupt. And I think at the end of that, I would simply be making a call whether I think they are or I think they're not. I don't think you can prove it. There's too many holes in the story. So I don't know. I'm just so interested to see what happens in this state election. We're using Dominion here. So who's going to win? Who's going to win? Who's going to win? If Dominion's corrupt, who's going to win? If Kemp is corrupt and he's in bed with Dominion, then this should be an automatic win for Brian Kemp, don't you think, Renee? If he's in bed with Dominion, he's corrupt as it relates to Dominion, then you should not have any worries whatsoever that Stacey Abrams is going to win, right? That's logical, right? I mean, he's the one that's in bed with him. He's the governor. He's the one who controls it. Then it is an automatic win. Right? So there's nothing to worry about. I know you don't want him to win like that. I get it. I'm just telling you. I mean, if I'm understanding you right, I'm trying to understand this. This is why I just don't go down that road, is because, I mean, hell, if he is corrupt, if he is in bed with Dominion, he's like spearheading it, whatever, then he ought to win easily. We don't have nothing to worry about, right? Stacey Abrams cannot beat him. She can't beat him. He controls Dominion, right? Or does Stacey Abrams control Dominion? Or you get what I'm saying? I don't understand that. I can understand that Dominion can be manipulated. I believe that it's logical that any electronically computer-based program can be manipulated and hacked into. I get it. Somebody's got to be pulling them strings, right? Somebody's got to be using that to win. And who is? Am I pro-Dominion? No, of course not. The machines have to go. Renee just said that the machines got to go. Yeah, they do. It don't matter. It don't matter who controls them. That's a whole separate. They got to go. Let's go back to a secure election procedure. Okay, that's what we need to do. We need to secure the election more. We need to secure the confidence that people have in the election process. That's what we need to do. Ain't no question with that. I'm all for getting rid of Dominion. If they had it on the ballot, should we get rid of Dominion, go back to a paper and a thumbprint? I'm voting yes. I'm going to be the first one at the poll to cast that vote. I get inundated with emails and comments that Brian Kemp owns the Dominion voting machines, that he's in bed with Dominion. He's invested into the company. I get all these articles and all this stuff. And I'm saying, well, if that's true, he ought to win by a landslide because he's controlling them. So I don't know. David says, Aaron Spike says, Richard Marks shown on the show lately. Yeah, he was on here commenting last week. He hadn't called. Larry's got him too scared to call. What else? Biden reportedly pushing forward with talks to return billions of funding to Afghanistan despite Taliban's refusal to cooperate. Checks and balances. I read that one already. New York Times, great right-wing media beat to see what's driving political decisions of many Americans. I don't know. It's all a complicated mess. We don't want him to win that way. If you think I'm okay with anyone winning that way, then you don't know me. No, I don't. Nobody said that. No, I'm simply saying, I know that you don't want him to win that way. I know the only reason you want him to win is to keep her from winning. I get all that. I'm just simply saying he's either in control and in bed with Dominion or he's not. Do you believe he is? If he is, then he's going to win easily because he's in control of it. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying the logical conclusion is if he owns Dominion or he's in control of Dominion or he's influenced with it, he ought to win easily. So if he loses, then was he not corrupt with Dominion? Or did somebody hack into it? I don't get it. I don't get that whole thing. I just don't. And again, it's because I haven't looked into it. So I don't see where I'm just using logic here. I just don't see it. Maybe I don't understand it. The main reason it's hard for me to even entertain stuff like that is because it just leads to a decision between an R and a D. And I'm just jaded with that. If he loses, he's still corrupt with Dominion. But if he's corrupt with Dominion, how would he lose? That's what I'm trying to understand. I did do some research a little bit on the Lowndes County. They're basically part of a test in this election cycle. They're part of a test, and that is chosen by the population and the size of the county and the votes that are cast. I do know that much. It's about as far as I got before I got too sick to do anything. Renee says, never mind. Well, I'm trying to, you the one got me started on this. You got to give me something here. I'm just asking, if he loses, how was he corrupt? Or is he not in control? Is that what I don't get it. Yeah, that's what I'm sitting there. If he is corrupt and in bed with Dominion and he loses, then he's a dumbass, is what I get. QR codes can't be read. So he's basically in bed with Dominion, corrupt with them, but they're going to stab him in the back. David said, when is the Valdosta Wildcats' first football game? It was Friday night, and they won. They beat a team out of Miami very easily, and won game. I don't know much of the details. The Vikings lost Saturday. They were in a lightning delayed game. It was late. I don't think they got over until about 1:30 in the morning, believe it or not. They took it on the chin 38-20. I don't know. I don't really know I don't really know any of the details about that game neither. Larry Godwin, the voice of the Viking Nation, and our own Larry Godwin that broadcasts here Thursday nights at 7 p.m. right here on Freedom with Steve Nichols. He usually covers that. He will be out of town this Thursday, and he's asked if I would sit in that night, and I don't know. We got to figure that out, so we'll be looking at that. Kevin Michael B says, if he is in bed with the Dominion people, I hope he gets monkeypox. That's funny right there. All right. I appreciate you guys tuning in this morning. We'll read a couple more comments before we get out here. Joe will be coming on at 9:05. So y'all stay right here. Chin up Vikings. You got in the next game. Sid says they played the number 15 ranked team in the nation. And, but I don't know about the game. I don't know how it went. I didn't listen to it. It was on late, and I ain't staying up that late. I didn't read anything about it, so we'll see. We'll see what happens on Thursday night. Mary says, Renee, call in. I'm a little too lost. I want to understand what you're trying to say. If we don't have fair elections, we don't we don't have freedom and we will lose our country. That we agree on. And the way to have fair elections, the way to know to have fair elections is to, honestly go back to a paper ballot and maybe a thumbprint. Our money has serial numbers on it. Why can't our vote have a serial number? Renee, really quick, how does Candace know her vote wasn't counted? I don't know that I can find a way to figure out if mine was or was not counted. So I'd like to know. I will probably take the time to call Candace and ask her how that is. How was her vote not counted? Abraham's still in Ghana. Want y'all to call him. All right, that's it. I'm going to get on out of here and go be productive. Watch the 9-minute clip I posted on this page. Well, that's that. You're going to have to send it to me either in an email, messenger, or text it to me. I can't get on my own page, remember? I can't see anything anybody posted on there because Facebook neutered me. I can't do it. Central beat Cairo 50-7. Well, I appreciate that score update, B, but in all honesty, I don't wish this for the kids necessarily, but I have no love lost for your alma mater now after what they did to that poor kid at Valdosta. That's a crying shame right there, what they did there. And I don't care, honestly, if Thomasville ever wins another football game. Thomasville Central, that is. Man, that's a deeper story for another day, and the sports people could cover that, but that's the conclusion I've come to. Okay, go on Candace's page. I can do that. I'll look at it there, Renee. Appreciate that tip. All right, got to get out of here. Y'all stay tuned for Joe. He'll be here at 9:05. You have been listening to Freedom with Steve Nichols, available here at Facebook, freedomnetworks.com. That's with an X, freedomnetworks.com, YouTube at Freedom Networks, and also on the Discord app. Appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow morning, bright and early, 6 a.m. Y'all have a great day.
We at Freedom with Steve Nichols want to thank each and every one of you for listening. Together, we will protect, defend, and promote the freedom as our founding fathers envisioned. We believe in the spirit of the Declaration of Independence and strive to protect that spirit daily. Please thank and utilize the goods and services of our sponsors and advertisers every chance you get. For now, we bid you farewell. Have a great day.